This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox Newscast. Welcome to the X&C Podcast. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy. No, how you doing? I'm Colteastwood. Welcome to the show. Mag is out on vacation, or he is incarcerated somewhere in Canada. But we are very happy to be here. I've got a couple really great friends with me that I talk to all the time. And we might have a little DM going to talk about gaming news and make fun of all of you, but we're really glad you're here. Before we get started, this is the X&C Podcast. It's mostly a gaming newscast that talks about Xbox, and this is episode 162. We're available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or iTunes and a bunch of other places, and you can listen to that on demand. Thank you for being here live. I am joined today with a good real-life couple of friends. Two good real-life friends. One is over here. We've got That Blue Number, who has become a friend because of the Xbox Fan Fest and showcases all the way back from 2022 and on to the present day, and also a member of the Renegade Realm podcast and the Infinite podcast, and wherever guest spots are available. Welcome. How are you doing, That Blue Number?
Hey, it's Holly, and I talk a lot, apparently. It's like, hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me back, Colt. This is so awesome. I get to talk to you on camera just like we do in parties, and we're not yelling about games yet. So
yeah, we're not losing our minds.
We gotta warm it up a little, right? Yeah.
And we'll talk about some of that and what we're playing. But I wanted to give the proper introduction, and we're bringing back. I don't know why we're bringing back for the third time, I think, my good friend from the host of the Renegade Realm podcast. I always want to call it something different, something new and exciting, like the Penetrate podcast or something, the Gatorade podcast. We're glad to have you. Also, an up-and-coming YouTube channel that covers Bethesda RPGs, world building games, and just covers the gaming news, RPGs from even Dragon Age and whatnot. Red Wolf, how are you? I don't know how to do this stuff, this intros, but it's good to have you. You're a good friend.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. I'm excited. I'm so excited to be here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, my channel's been doing it's been healthy. I made a Stalker video recently, and that was great. It's doing really well. A lot of positive feedback there. And then you also have the people that comment that you want to tell them, hey, why don't you go have a finger rips through the toilet paper as you wipe kind of day? Thanks. And but other than that, I've been doing really well. Happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me on again, and I can't wait to see the comments after the show is over.
Yeah, it's podcasting it's not for the faint of heart. You really put yourself out on the line sometimes.
Yep.
So I wanted to ask you two before as we get warmed up. Welcome everybody. We appreciate you being here. What have you been playing? Because one of the first topics will be the cursed summer gaming drought. So what have you been playing, Holly?
Oh gosh, it's such a weird time. Like, I'm normally one of those people who's one like game that is story driven, heavily narrative, and then I have multiplayer, right? Like, I kind of do that, and I just like burn through one, then go to the next and go to the next. But I haven't had anything that's caught my attention enough to just stick around. So I'm like hopping around all the time. I've been playing Fallout 76 every day without my friends to do the scoreboard stuff there. I've been playing Nobody Wants to Die because a very lovely person that we all know and love here gifted that to me, and I am almost done with it. First playthrough, because I hear it has multiple endings, but it's very interesting. Nobody Wants to Die is one of those, if you can pick it up, you probably should. It's pretty cool. And I've been trying to finish Elden Ring, but I love Elden Ring so much, and I'm on like the last I love it so much. Yes. Yeah, I know. So I'm like at the last boss, just before the last boss, and I don't want it to end. And then I know that one's gonna be pretty bad from what I hear. So every time I sit down, I'm like,
Oh,
"No, I don't want to do that right now. No, I don't want to do that." But I've also been playing a little Divinity 2 on PC with some friends and a little Gears action.
oh
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, some co-op Gears.
yeah, brother.
Mhm.
It's so good.
You're my
So
brother. You guys have been playing
brother.
through. You're trying to play through the entire series before Gears E-Day comes out. Is that what you're doing there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna enlist you when we get to 3-player co-op.
I can't wait. I
But
can't wait.
we walk around like this a lot.
Anya!
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going through this
And
door. Kill a bunch of
And
stuff.
his
I'm going
fingers
through the
are
next
like,
door.
you might as well like be holding your keyboard like he's like, Anya, hello. It's like his fingers are like this long when he's.
His fingers are huge. He's got these 2 sausages, and he's like, the best is when you're trying to run through the krill, and he gets a call from Anya. He's like, Anya, I didn't leave the oven on, and then you're like, and you get smoked.
Exactly. That was Holly. I'm like, Holly, don't go there. She's like, what do you mean? Yeah.
Because I
They're
didn't
classics.
remember that part at all. And I'm walking doing this, and he's like, "Get out of there!" And I'm like, "What? What?"
Because she's walking around looking for cog tags, and she's like, "What's over there?" I'm like, "No." Into the darkness.
True.
Some good stuff.
It's so good. And the thing, like, neither of us have a great memory of the first game, so like we're playing it like with fresh ears and eyes and noses, and it's great. Like we're in that segment where you can fall through the floor. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was so.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm just like walking. I'm like, be careful, and just like fall straight to the floor. So good. Oh my goodness, I love it.
My problem is I always think certain scenes or segments are in 1 or 2. I can't keep them straight. I'm like, oh yeah, that one part in 2, or is that 1? So when I replayed 1, I was like, oh, a lot of that stuff was in the first game. Shout out to Grandpa Barbecue or Game Cat, who gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much for doing that. I didn't get to see in the chat who was the recipient of that. Stephen Mewtwo, a guy who I talk to pretty often. Trino Johnson, Hebs, and Sean T, True Serum. Great song by Dishwalla. Good band that's not really around anymore. Isaac Hayes, 85. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Someone's like, Game Drought? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to play. I've been bouncing around between things. I finished Syndicate. I even loaded up Assassin's Creed Unity. I'm like, I can't do another one back to back, especially that's my least favorite one. But I've been playing last night in a party. Fonz and I, for about 3 hours, were playing Red Dead Redemption single player just while we were on party chat and just talking about our experience. And that's a really great game. We're playing on PC to get
The
like a
first
little
one
bit
or the
extra.
second one?
Red Dead Redemption
Alright.
2. I've played 1 like 3 times. So yeah, I was messing around. They've got the online thing, but it's just dead. You ride around and you don't see anything or anybody. So I've been trying to latch on to something that'll hold me over for the next month. And I don't know. I just thought I would bring that up as you were leading to that, Holly. Like, we're in the game drought. You guys are playing Gears and Elden Ring. You're playing all these dusty, old, crusty games. What is it that's going to hold you over for the next month?
Me?
It takes so long to get time to find Red to play that I'm sure that we've got like 2 acts left in the first one. And my goal is for us to have that done by the end of the month. That
Okay.
might be a big goal.
Well,
But
see,
That's the
that'll
goal.
be-
It just became a goal.
Just became a goal. It's memorialized here, chat. But that is a really good question. I'm gonna finish off these ones that I have, and then I haven't been playing much Call of Duty, and that's weird for me, but gosh, I don't know. I don't want to start anything else because it's like as soon as I start it, Outlaws is gonna come out, or Astrobot is
got
gonna
a
come
month?
out, or
got 3+ weeks
yeah.
for Outlaws. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about. But Red, what is holding you over? you're in the middle of a couple of games. You bounce around as much as I do. ADD.
Yeah, I have been playing, thanks to you, I was like, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So I beat, for anyone in chat, I beat Assassin's Creed Syndicate back whenever it first came out. And during that time, I was, you guys.
You want a good walloping, do you? Sorry.
You want a good whopping with your knickers and your big whatever.
Can't even walk through the streets. You haven't done anything wrong. All you've done is pick daisies and help little children cross the street, and then all of a sudden you walk by, it's like beep, 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 that noise. And it's like, you want a good walloping? Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm walking here. Yeah, just yelling at you. I'm like, what was that? There's a guy just yelling at me across the street. Oh, why you want to get in your fire? Whatever the hell, it's a different language. I
need to ask Dar's Night.
Game.
Yeah,
I beat the game whenever it first came out, but I skipped. I pulled a Special Nick. Shout out to Special Nick. We'll have him on tomorrow night. I skipped all the cutscenes. And so I did beat it, but I just did not do that game justice. So I have been replaying that. I have no idea how long I've been playing it because the stats are broken. You know how that happens. On certain games, the time played stat is just removed essentially.
I played it on.
It feels like
I played it on PC and Ubisoft. Like there were no. It said challenges were not activated or able or something. No achievements because you get achievement trophies on Ubisoft PC. So I'm like, I would do all this cool stuff and not one thing ever popped when I played it, but I still enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how long I played.
It feels like I'm like 20 hours or something. And I cleared the entire map of the red zone. So I took over the whole city before sequence 4, which is essentially where the game really starts to kick off.
Wow.
But because I did that, now I'm leveled up enough to where the combat feels really good. Like, because for anyone who doesn't know, Assassin's Creed Syndicate combat, you walk up to him, you slap him in the face, you give him a wedgie, you throw him down to the ground, you pick him back up, you slap him in the face, you stab him in the ear, you flick him on the nose, you're just like, just kill the guy. Like, God, just kill the guy. And so once you start to level up, the combat becomes much more like, Assassin's Creed 3 and 4. Like, you can just instant kill people. So it feels really great now, and I'm having a good time with it. But, again, it took me 20 hours to get to that point. So I've been playing that. Life is Strange, the remastered. That game's like my feel-good game. Been playing that. I guess that's pretty much it. Other than Holly's, saying we played Gears. We played it for a couple of hours, but made some really good progress. That was great. Like, God, Gears is so good. Anya, it's so good. It's so good. So
I was thinking about Gears a lot as, an Xbox fan, and the reception for E-Day was so big. Like, it was such a monumental thing. Our friend Hargeet Chani recorded it in the theater when we were at the event, and he got like 70,000 views on his new channel because he's just a reaction to Gears E-Day. And I was thinking about how big Gears is and how this resurgence of a mature, gritty Gears has been so big. And I think about Halo, and I'm like, maybe Halo needs to rest a little bit because I think Gears is still kind of has some viability. So I'm excited about that. I want to shift gears because I want to get a chance to say this. And I was going to get Sicka Mechanico or John Clark from Xbox Era when you brought up their name. I wanted to just take a moment to shout out their Kickstarter project. If you don't know that John and his friends, they built this card game called Console Wars. And the best way to describe it is it's just a card deck with incredible visuals of game franchises. And it plays much like Monopoly without a board. You lay down cards, you pull cards from the deck, and once you get a pair of corresponding colors or franchises or genres, you can kind of stack up a family like you would in Monopoly, and you can trade and steal from players around the table. And I don't know how much Holly saw of this, but when we were in LA in June, I sat with Ainsley from Seasoned Gaming, John and Boomstick from Boomstick XL in his podcast. I sat with them and played this game, and I really don't like board games or card games, and I especially don't like being told the rules because I'm like, I'm not listening. I just want to play. I'll make my mistakes. I'll get it on the next round, but it was so easy to pick up. And they've launched this thing on Kickstarter. So I would recommend you guys check it out. What did you see from it, Holly? You guys went and took off to go adventure while I was playing.
We went to go shove coins in sleeves, put stickers on.
That sentence could have gone different ways.
Well, you know,
Yep,
it's all
that's
PG
great.
here. So we like John had this thing with him the whole time. He was so proud of it. And it was all drawn like by hand. It was all these cards he'd like drawn, and I think he laminated them and stuff, right? Because he was like field testing it with all of us, right? And he was like, oh, I really want y'all to play my game. And I was like, I'm in, because I love board games, I love card games. And then when they sat down to play, all the seats were full, and I was just like, forget you guys. No, I'm kidding. Like the seats were full though.
She flipped the table.
It's great. I threw all their cards on the floor and walked away.
Yeah.
But no, they looked like he did a really good job, even just the hand drawings. And it was it seemed like easy, but also complex, you know, just because there were different nuances to how you play and sort of, you know, that economy of the game in the way that it moves around and what you do with it. But
like you understand
really
where the game's going when you first see it, right? So it's easy to kind of,
mm-hmm.
You don't have to be lectured for 20 minutes straight.
You don't know how to get there. You just know like when you first open it, right? But I think you know what the end goal is pretty quickly. And yeah. So yeah, I was, and they've been teasing it the whole time, and I've been like, I know what the secret project is, but not telling anybody.
Right.
But, it's really good to see that they got it up today, and I went and backed their Kickstarter because it's all love and support, and we have to help each other in the community. And it looks like a really, really fun game.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. It's got that whole thing, Red, where you steal from other people. You pull a card, and if you put a card in your hand, that's like kind of like Uno. It's like a mix of Uno and Monopoly, and all great things borrow from great things, right? And like if you pull a card that kind of looks like a draw four, or I forgot Uno, but like you get that one that has like all 5 colors. You can like use that to steal a color code of something. So like basically there's like color codes for genres and then for studios. And then they did this really cool thing. I'm talking to the chat here, where they took game franchises and they spoofed the name. So like Doom has the Doom logo, but it's called Mood. And Fallout, I can't remember what Fallout was called, but it's the Fallout logo, and it says like
Outfall.
Yeah. It is really, really, really smart.
Dude of Collie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. What Yodani and Happy Bomb are talking smack. Let's see. Yeah. We had a good time with the card game. I normally don't enjoy card games, but I did like it. So yeah, I'm gonna back their Kickstarter. So I wanted to give them some love. It's pretty cool. He had a graphic designer work on all the things, and he showed me. He called me last week. John Clark did from Xbox Era, and he's like, "I want to show you the prototype trailer that they had," and he showed me pictures. The cards were all professionally ready to go, so they could start production. They were really excited. So it's called Console Wars. If you like card games, that would be the one to do. We're getting a phone call. Let me see if I can. Hold on one second. Hey, Fonz, what's up?
Oh.
Hey, I'm live on X&C. Do you want to be on the mic real quick so everybody can shout you happy birthday? Hang on a second. Okay, hang on. Hold on. Oh, I almost hit the hang up button.
I didn't know that. I forgot it's Monday. Oh, where are my manners, man? I just got back from work.
Can you hear him?
And so like,
Yep.
oh.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. This is awkward.
Look at this.
How many times have I done this?
You probably can't see that, but I've got his Dragon Age avatar that he made that looks just like him as his picture when he calls me, because it looks like him. But hey, we want to say happy birthday, Fonz. You're amazing. We can't wait to see what you do next on GameStalk Live.
Yeah, I'll be back this Wednesday for sure. Last week was crazy, but I'm back from vacation and stuff, so we should be getting back to GameStalk, Hargeet and I.
Okay, bro.
Yeah. Sorry, I was calling up to just shoot the crap with you.
That's what we do. All right, bro. I'll call you when I get done with the show.
Yeah, XNC. Yeah.
Wear something lacy.
Bye.
All right, bye. Bye. I apologize for that. That was my boyfriend, Fonz. Fonz is amazing. Fonz is there with us too. Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah,
This is show, man. Happy birthday to Fonz. Yeah, I hope he's doing well. I know he was touching grass, as they would say, which essentially means he was, living life as a human being.
Not living on Twitter.
Not living on Twitter, living the healthy life. Yeah, so shout out to Fonz, man. I can't wait for him to come back into the space of YouTube.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing. So, yeah, I was the Console Wars card game. Yeah, I should put a link in there when I get a chance. So, we were talking about the gaming drought, but I think it's worth actually talking about Star Wars Outlaws. It's a multi-plat, but interestingly, I'll just frame it this way first. I'll start with Red, is that there was another set of previews. People got to play the game for 4 hours over a console or a cloud stream. And they were positive, I guess. I don't know. I heard some mixed up, but they were way more positive than they were before. Red, you're a little bit indifferent about Outlaws, but tell us what you think. What's going to happen?
So we talked about this before the show a little bit. The older that I get, the more mature stuff that I like. And it's hard to apply that to Star Wars all the time. So I really loved Jedi Fallen Order. I love Jedi Survivor because that gets really dark. And I love that. I'm not saying it needs to be dark all the time, but Outlaws was like almost what I wanted from a Star Wars game. People have been screaming for a bounty hunter game for years. And but this one seems really, really lighthearted, and it has enough there to entice fans that aren't even, or people that aren't even fans of the Star Wars franchise. And I actually talked to a buddy of mine who is not a Star Wars fan, and he texted me day before yesterday. He was like, "Bro, I'm getting Outlaws. This looks so good. I bet you're hyped too, right?" And I'm like, brother. Yeah. So he was just saying, like, I'm not a Star Wars fan. Like, this looks awesome. It looks like a lot of fun. It reminds me of Division mixed with Red Dead. I don't know why people keep comparing it to Red Dead, and I'm like, I just haven't seen enough of it to know what they mean. But I think it's gonna do good. I think it's gonna do well. I don't think it's gonna blow the blow the stock market out of the stock.
Blow the stock market back into place.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think it's going to fix world hunger or anything like that. But
I don't think it's going to get that pole vaulter all the way over the pole, the bar.
Oh man! Talk about poles, am I right? Yeah. Brother.
Wait. That's a bronze. We like to stay topical here on Ecstasy Podcast. Wait, is she frozen?
That's all it's.
As soon as he said that, he's like, "You guys love me so much." Hold on, I'm gonna look at Discord and see.
Oh,
I bet you. Okay, is she back? Oh, she's trying.
She's mad.
She's trying to come back. I seriously know nothing about the Olympics. I just hear like the biggest previews. Are you back? Okay, let's see if
the biggest what?
I don't know. I just whatever hits the news that goes on the zeitgeist,
Whatever hits the poll.
Oh gosh. Okay. Holly, just turn your camera off and back on, and it should fix the frozen part. Or is it coming back? Yeah, it's.
Oh, she just looked like Natalia from James from GoldenEye from 64 for a second.
Natalia.
What?
Natalia.
Sorry, we're having problems over here. My internet's a little.
She sounded like one of the female ghouls from Fallout London for a second there. She's like,
"Oh, she's good."
Yeah, she's like,
so much.
Yeah, smooth skin. Holly, say something so we can. The viewership's going up when you're frozen, so keep it up. Holly, say something. Let's get a mic check.
Perfect. So
this always happens at the
there we
worst.
Go. There you go. I can hear you.
Okay.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
When I first started this, hold on. When I first started this podcast, I had a really bad internet connection. I have 2 ports behind my TV, and one of them was like broken. And so I would do the podcast. forever. And I called my brother. He's like, try this, try that. He's like, that port is shot. So I was like getting dial-up speed. So anyway, sorry. Let's get back to normal. Where were we?
Yeah, I was just talking about Outlaws, and I was just going to say that my friend is really excited for it. He's not a Star Wars fan. So it does seem to be grabbing a lot of people, even if they're not a fan of Star Wars. And I think it's for good reason. It looks like, I mean, it's massive. So, literally. This is massive.
Massively huge.
Massively huge. Who made the Division games, which are great. So, I'm sure that they have a lot of activities within the maps, and, there's 5 or 6 planets, I think. But for me, honestly, it's just the tone of it, and it just, there's something just really like lighthearted and not, it feels like this is a good step in the right direction for Star Wars games, in the sense of, we're not trying to like lean into it and tell a huge, massive narrative. No pun intended. We're just trying to make a good video game, and it happens to be a Star Wars game. So, but I just don't think it's for me. It's just, I think it'll be great. So I have a really weird opinion. I'm like, I really don't think it looks good, but I think it's going to be great. And it's not for everybody. I think it's for everybody, but it's not for me.
Actually, Red, you have what would be a normal person's opinion, who can say,
oh my goodness,
that doesn't look like something I'm interested in, but I can see why it will do okay and people like it. Like, that's a norm. Instead of someone's like, trash, no one can play it. Holly, what's your take on I was gonna say Assassin's Creed Outlaws? Star Wars Outlaws.
that would
be amazing.
Gave them the best. Oh my god.
No. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
It's weird.
Yep.
I didn't hear. Oh,
no, you're good. You keep talking.
Come on.
We can still hear you.
You're lagging.
Yeah, Chad, don't worry about her video. We'll get it ironed out,
okay.
But we'll just listen to what you have to say, because yeah. Star Wars Outlaws, your floor.
Yeah, let me turn off my camera a little bit. Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws. I think that, ironically, I know everybody is kind of in reds. I've heard that a lot, right? Like, this looks interesting, probably not for me, or it looks decent, but it's not for me. Whereas I was like, I didn't really care for the last 2, Jedi Survivor, and they were really my thing, but this one actually looks way more up my alley. I like the little companion. I like the main character. I've heard some people go back and forth about, her on the whole. But I think she looks fun. I like open world games. So I heard that, I've heard at least the first 3 hours are extremely linear. But at some point, it's supposed to open up into this, fully open world experience. The one thing I will say around Star Wars Outlaws is it's very strange, because I feel like the 1 minute I look at one review and somebody's like, this is a lot of fun. It has this, it has that. And then, they'll show gameplay and it looks fine. But then the next minute you turn around and somebody else is like, this was horrible. The frames were dry, that like it had all the issues and this and this. And I've never seen so much discourse where you turn to one person who you watch reviews for, you feel like, they have a pretty good perspective, and they say one thing, and then you turn to somebody else of the same caliber to you and they say something completely different, and it's just really hard to know where they're landing, like where this game is going to actually land between the two. So see, I agree with you both, though. Like, I think it's going to score decently well. I mean, I don't think it's going to be over 90, but I do think it's, it's going to be a Ubisoft game, and it's going to be pretty good. And I'm a massive fan, so it's good. But why are you making faces? Is my audio really that bad?
No, it cuts once in a while. I'm just wondering.
Oh yeah.
I'm wondering if I should have you restart your internet and just come right back in. Try turn on your camera again. I used to freak out about this stuff, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like stressing about it. I'm not worried about it. Like, we're just running a show here, and for years I would let technical problems bother me. But yeah, just do this. Just back out, restart your internet, You don't need to restart your PC. Just restart your internet and then reconnect, and we'll just come right back. And I'm sure it'll actually fix it. Who knows? But if not, we'll just deal with it. It's no big deal. Is that okay, Holly? You want to try that? Should take like 5 minutes, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not like when I had when I was early on in the show. She's like, "Bye." It will actually change my layout for just a second. I'll change that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'll be the
Boop. And then I have to go to this. Hang on a second. Okay. There
While
we go.
you're doing that, let me just say, just so I can fill the air, I'm really excited for people that are excited about Star Wars Outlaws, and it's such a, I don't know, like I feel we're gonna talk a little bit about how there's too many games coming out. This is one of those cases where I go, you know what? I don't need to play this game, and I feel like a lot of people would force themselves to try to like a game because of it's attached to a certain IP, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I used to be like that, like, oh, it's Star Wars, so I have to at least give it a chance and whatnot. And I'm sure that eventually I will give Star Wars Outlaws a chance. But right now, because I'm not feeling it, I want to wait until I'm really excited about something. I want to get some games off my backlog and then say, you know what? Star Wars Outlaws is on sale because it's been out for 2 days, because that's what Ubisoft does. But and eventually I'm sure that I will try it, and I bet you that I will fall in love with it and be like, I was wrong. And hey, by the time that I play it, I bet you Ubisoft will allow us to change her hair, because that'd be really cool. I want to give her like a mohawk or something cool. Why don't they let us change her hair? Oh, it bothers me.
I don't want people to think that we would get down a certain avenue of discussion about the way she looks. The weird like 1978 school teacher haircut is like, it doesn't even look like something you would, because normally Star Wars does like some kind of outlandish hair that you'd think was in a galaxy far, far away. And instead she's like, I don't know why the hair should matter.
I totally agree with you. It's such a weird thing. And I don't complain about that stuff. Typically it's because the character, like Jedi Survivor, for example, Jedi Fallen Order, the first game, like we were stuck with Cal's, hair. And
wait, you couldn't change it in Fallen Order at all?
No, you couldn't. It was just ponchos, and that's why people were so.
That's
like,
right,
dude.
yeah.
And people were so mad about that, and they're like, okay, fine. So they allowed full customization.
I had like the
Survivor, which is amazing.
The shaved side of the head with the
fade. Yeah, I did too. Yeah. I had the same one. It was so cool, and I like to do that thing in games where I'll start off with like a really short haircut, and then as I progress through the game, I'll give my character a little more hair, a little more beard, a little more. Come on, chat. I'm not alone. But
hold on. Torn Raptor in the chat says, weird. If this is a guy, this wouldn't be a topic. I mean, partially I am being a little bit dumb where I'm like, I don't like her hairstyle, but you can customize tons of different things about how she looks other than her hair. Like I would have liked a different hairstyle to change the character and make her look more like a bounty hunter character instead of the one who's going to help you with your third grade math assignment. I don't know. It's dumb.
And rugged. And Torn Raptor, I'm not saying that I'm not getting the game because I can't change her hair. It's not at all.
We are admitting it does seem kind of dumb, but it's just like a little thing. Like, hey,
it's just a little thing. Yeah. Like if Ubisoft came out today and said, "Hey, we heard your response before launch. We are gonna let you change your hair." I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, now I'm getting the game."
You're like pre-ordering the Steelbook. You can change your hair.
I'm getting the Steelbook. I'm getting the XXX the triple A Ultimate Golden Edition or whatever it is for the game. I don't know why. First thing I did that last week. I don't know why. I'm so sorry, guys.
You meant triple X as in Vin Diesel. It's cool.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel edition.
Diesel.
You play the game as Vin Diesel instead.
Oh my god!
When you hear your family. I always use the Olive Garden quote for Vin Diesel. When you hear your family. I don't think that's what he said in the movies, but
he just said family. And everyone's like, "Oh, you're Riddick." And he's like, family. Did you ever see the Riddick movies?
I haven't.
Oh my.
Okay,
you have look. Holly's saving us. We were about to go on a tangent.
We were about to go off the rails. Oh, there we go. Wait, what? Oh, I got to take it off of this. Hang on. There's like 9 buttons I push so that you guys get the ultimate experience on XNC of our ridiculousness. Okay, let's see. Everything's good?
Hey, can I real quick
let's hope so.
Say,
I'm here.
Wait, let's ask Holly about the hair.
Quick. Well, let me just say shout out to Torn Raptor, because Torn Raptor is not going to get a shout out from someone who's outside of the Xbox Era podcast realm, and Torn Raptor is someone who made a lot of what they're one of the many people that have been an incredible supporter for Xbox Era that made
nice.
console wars possible. So I just want to give a shout out to Torn Raptor.
Well, they helped with the card game.
Oh yeah, they're a huge. Torn Raptor is one of the massive supporters. They're massively huge. So yeah, shout out to Torn Raptor.
Yeah, and when I normally when I say something in the chat, like I just want to make sure that we're not coming across the wrong way, and I appreciate you saying something like about the hair, because we do sound ridiculous if we just go off the rails. But Holly, we were talking about the Star Wars Outlaw character. She has this very homely hairdo, and Red and I were just like, it'd be nice if you could change it in the custom menu or unlock, a mullet or something.
I like her hair. I like her hair. I think it's really cute.
Cute. It definitely is cute, and that's my thing. I want to give her like a mohawk with like some shaved fade on the side with a tattoo on her face. I don't know. I just like want to make her
not
look
Mad Max.
I know. True, that's true.
Yeah, it's definitely not a complaint. Although if that was a complaint, I think there'd be something wrong with me. But I think it's just like, hey, can we just do this? Customizable characters are so important to video gaming because people can make their character feel more like attached to them. Because if you play Star Wars or Jedi Survivor, you're playing as Brad Sams. There's no other way around it. And if you know who Brad Sams is, that's Brad Sams in the game. So yeah. Jacob Tuapau goes, change your hair, incoming game of the year. Yeah, absolutely. That would be the real deal. I wanted to we were having Holly talk about Outlaws, and you were saying that it will score decently well. So what do you think it's going to, what's your Metacritic prediction, Holly, for Outlaws?
80.
Wait, did we lose her again?
She would have said 80.
She would have said 80? Yeah.
I think that's just my prediction. I'm going to assume she's going to say like...
Is that your prediction?
Like a solid 83. That's what I would say. I would say like it'll be like a solid like 80, 82, 83, something like that.
Jeez,
yeah.
I'm thinking
nice
78.
Number.
Okay. Chat, write in the chat what you think the... Jacob goes, I thought Holly was acting interested. Tell us what you think the Metacritic prediction is going to be. Assassin, our good friend Assassin from your podcast says a 77 to 78. I'm with Assassin on that one for sure. Abdel says an 81. Low 80s, says Jacob. Yeah, okay.
Tout pois.
All right, I've got the live feed of Holly.
Monad, 74. I see that low 8. Yeah, let's 77, 78, 82, smooth 75, 73.
What's your prediction, Holly, for the Outlaws score?
82.
82.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. I was on point.
You want to put some money on that?
I should have bet. I was like, I bet you $100 she'll say 83. She said 82.
Well, okay. That's good for you.
82.
You, Donnie, says 77. Yeah. I'm kind of in the I'm in the high 70s realm. So I'm with some of the other people in the chat too. I think they're going to be, Andrew Nikhil said it's going to bomb. I think they're going to be very, very harsh on it because it's a Star Wars franchise. And I would think the journalists don't have a lot of patience for Ubisoft. I just want a good, fun game. Yeah, better than Starfield. That's not nice, but we'll see. One of the other things that came up today, because we could sit here on the podcast and talk about Outlaws, but a major news thing that broke that we should at least address is that Bungie was supposed to be the more important purchase than Activision. And I don't like to sit here. I really do not like to do it at all. And people have this perception of what they think that people are when they are on one side or the other. I do not want to sit here and ride all over PlayStation and kick them while they're down, while they're going through a difficult time. But them relinquishing the power from Bungie over to PlayStation, which is essentially what is being reported, is kind of a big news topic. And I think the perception that Bungie is better without Xbox, they did their best work under Xbox. The Halo games that they released average in the high 80s, and Destiny 1 and 2 averaged lower than that. So I don't know what they were going to do, but PlayStation's Bungie told them not to put out Last of Us Factions, and I think they helped them move forward with Concord. So really rough waters for Bungie, and these acquisitions have been kind of dicey across both platforms, in my opinion. Holly, do you have any editorials about Bungie and what happened with PlayStation?
Man, that's a tough situation, isn't it? I feel for all those people that work there. They have, I think it said that I read that they have still like 890 employees over all of the, and that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. And they cut 220, I think it was 217, something like that this time, or between the last time and this time, a quarter of their workforce. And that's, the morale was already heinously bad after that first cut, and I can only imagine what it's like to be there now. And I read their statement about how they were going to be, it was pretty vague, but they were going to be integrating some of their employees into PlayStation Studios, 100 or so, and then they were going to be creating another team to do some other stuff. So, I mean, it really does appear that, you know, Sony has kind of stepped in and been like, enough is enough, especially after they gave them that billion-dollar employee retention incentive after the acquisition. So, you know, there's always a lot of stuff under the hood when you buy a company, but you don't really know until you buy them. I'm sure Microsoft has had a lot of the same conversations at much bigger levels about Activision, Blizzard, and King, and all of the others that came along with that, which is why we saw some layoffs, redundancy, but also, you know, looking at the books. And I think people, when they know they're going to be bought, like whether it's Activision or Bungie, they make everything look as best as possible because they need to drive the price up as best they can. And they also do some things that they probably wouldn't do if they knew that there was some incoming flux of cash, like keeping extra jobs or adding new teams on to make it look like the company is highly sustainable and that everything is working very well, and making some other decisions just financially that,
or that they have hot projects in the
appearance.
works.
Yeah, right. Like, and I mean, factions may have been terrible, right? Like, it may have been absolutely terrible. Who knows? But Bungie being the ones that they brought in to be the savior of the live service space, right? For a lot of what Sony was supposed to do. Yeah. They still know how to make a very successful live service game, right? Destiny 2 has been around forever, and it's had major expansions, and it's always a big deal when they come out. But you can only imagine what they saw when they went in and they were like, this is not it. I know you've spent X, but the dollar return on this is just an embarrassment, versus the fact of like a Concord or something else. But now all of that's probably being called into question a bit when you see, you know, all of the poor choice after poor choice after poor choice that was made there. So it's, I don't know, it's bad. It's kind of, there's mismanagement everywhere around, and it does give you pause when you hear about these studios who are just left to do their own thing. Because of course, it's nice to have the creative freedom and allow them to work in a bubble that gives them the right space. But at the same time, when you have something that winds up like this, where they had 3 major teams and too many, they were stretched too thin, then, you know, if they'd had some oversight, maybe that could have, you know, brought some clarity to the situation before it burned to, you know, the point where it is, which is too bad. It's really sad because Bungie has been around a really long time and they're an institution.
Yeah, they have created 2 great franchises in a row. They were the consultants of the savior of, I don't know what we would call it, for PlayStation to get into games as a service. And they were supposed to help them create great games that people could play for a long time. And the end result of this, because I don't want to take pot shots because people are losing their jobs and there's major turmoil. You said it really well, Holly, how the rest of the industry is dealing with the same thing. They bring these people into the fold, and then they find out they also purchased all of their problems. Marathon is a game they're supposed to be working on, this multi-plat. Red, what's your opinion of how are you feeling about the Bungie thing? Were you happy when you heard the news?
Yeah, I was really happy. I was like, great, everyone's life is going into the shunk.
The shunk hole.
Where I am, the shunk hole. Yeah. And no, it's terrible. And like I see understanding in chat, who's not very understanding at all, was saying they'll find new jobs. It's fine. And I will tell you right now, as someone who is, let me just say this: if when you get laid off unexpectedly without, all of your finances are in one place because of where you are with your salary, where everyone, if you don't have a job that isn't a salary, I will say, then you're fighting for hours, you're fighting for a check that's higher than what it was each week, every single pay period. If you have a salary and you're used to that salary, all of your finances, all of your bills, every expense that you have is accounted for. So as soon as that gets swept out from under your feet, it is so difficult to acclimate to a new job and match that salary to find security again. Because the majority of these people, they're, especially as developers, just to be frank, or Bill, or Jim, it's really hard to save money and to find a sense of security, especially whenever you're doing what you love. I cannot imagine a world where I'm doing what I love and all of a sudden someone goes, "You're done." And it's like, it's not easy to just find a new job. Now, the good thing is that the great thing about the gaming community is everyone's connected in a certain way. So I did see a lot of studios open up and say, we have positions, like, come here. And you do see that a lot, which is great to see.
That's surprising.
So whenever we see these layoffs, and especially, I mean, dude, can you imagine being a studio? It's like we have slots open. We have places, and Bungie people just got laid off. Let's get those Bungie people in here. Let's give them a safe space to, feel comfortable. We're not a big corporation. They may be a AA or an indie studio, but at least they have some security there. I don't want to rant too much, but I will just say that it really sucks. It sucks. And I think this is just a factor of the live service pipeline that they had in the works. Not all the way, probably, but can we blame it on Jim Ryan? Can we just say it's Jim Ryan's fault?
They did. They had a dozen live service games. They canceled a few of those. But when you lose your job at a game studio, if you asked me, I would say, isn't everybody cutting 10% of their workforce? What that translates to me is, if you work in a game studio and you lose your job, you're competing with everyone to get job replacement. So when people at Bungie lose their job, I love that Holly reported on that they were folding people into PlayStation. The same thing was happening amongst Arcane Austin that made the massive failure, Redfall. Nobody really reported about that, but Xbox said we're finding places for them to go within ZeniMax and Bethesda and other places. Like, they're trying to replace those employees instead of just saying, "Hey, you're done. We don't have to pay for you anymore." And dissolving the studio alone saves them a bunch of money. All of it's terrible, but we're what was it? 15,000 people at Intel, or 17,000. There, Primo Drake just wrote it in the chat. I think it was at least 15,000. The number went up the next day on the actual report. In the games and hardware games industry, this is what's happening. So, yeah. Anyway.
So I found a statistic today that talked about layoffs, and in tech alone, there's been about 125,000 layoffs only in 2024 across. Jeez. So that includes games, it includes Intel, and those kinds of things. But that's a lot of people looking for a quarter of those jobs, 10th of those jobs that are open, right? And it's just a statement about the industry itself and also the economy. And, it all kind of like, it's a push and pull across everything that's going on. It's really sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like Red said,
Drought-
like a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, right? Because of rising costs and just life
we
and
all
other
do.
things.
Yeah.
So-
and,
we all kind of do.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
someone in chat, Dr. Dry Rub says, these people make very good money. They don't work at McDonald's. That's my point. That's exactly my point. If you make very good money and you're used to making that, it is very difficult to say, hey, I just got laid off. This is what's happening in my company right now. Can you give me $60,000 a year? Yes, no, yes, no. And they're like, what?
I mean, some of them are making 100,000, but
right. And the more you make, the more it sucks because again, you're used to that. And then you built your life on your salary because you think that you have security. And then this stuff happens all the time. Sorry.
yeah,
everybody gets one.
Red, trust me, Red knows from experience from his professional life that there is a big upset. And I don't even want to get into it, but if you have a decent, nice car, when you lose your job, you can't just say, I'll go sell my car. You lose tons of money. You know, when you've got a car payment, you can't just say, oh, I'll get rid of all these nice things that I accrued because I had $100,000 a year job. These people make games that we love. And I just think maybe we should, I don't know, we should be a little bit.
It's all about security, right? Like, in this industry, like how do people Microsoft, Sony, whoever, how do they give security to developers and studios? How is that ever going to be a thing with?
That's why you're seeing Blizzard unionize.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
right? Exactly. 100%.
That's a different
exactly.
conversation.
And then these bigger companies, hopefully in the future, will say, we got to look out for that because that's going to happen. Because it depends on where you live. Would you just look at it?
Look at it.
A lot of these, and it depends on where you live. Like I know where I live, your boss can fire you for no reason, and that's legal. There is nothing you can do about it except unionize. That's it. That's all that you can do. So a lot of people who are doing this anyway, security, it sucks. Like every time that I see this, I'm like, of course. And it's becoming a normal thing. And I hate whenever bad things become common and you're just like, there it is again. There it is again. There it is again. You know, it just sucks. So
it's
just because you unionize doesn't mean all of your problems are gone either.
It actually makes it way more difficult. Yeah. It makes it way more stressful. I've actually been in the middle of that. Yeah, I wasn't part of it, but I was in the middle of it like 10 plus years ago. I started a job where I was like, oh, I got a new job. And it was more than 10 years ago, but started a new job. And there were all these strike signs outside. And I'm like, well, nobody's standing out here. Who's striking? And I walk inside and everyone who is working there, it's like, well, we're striking, but we kind of still have to work. I'm like, how does this work?
And you just got there?
And I just worked there. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, oh, it sucks here. It sucks. Everything sucks. I suck. You suck. It sucks. Yeah, it's great. So anyway.
My issue was that if you get a job under a Microsoft Xbox studio or a PlayStation studio, I would think you would go home to your family and say, everything's good. We got hired with PlayStation, or if I got hired with a Microsoft Xbox studio, I'd tell my family, hey, I got this job under a $1 trillion company. Like everything's good. But that's not how it is. And the market's pretty crappy right now.
That would be like the first thing in my mind. Like if I got a job with Microsoft, like years ago, I would say, oh my God, I'm set for life. And nowadays I'm like, I'm scared. I need an adult. Phil, come help me. Yeah. So,
it's like my father always told me, my dad always tells me, your job's never secure, no matter who you are. But I would actually love to spend the rest of the show talking about more positive stuff, because there is some interesting, cool stuff that's happening. One of the, I'll just take a total, I'll hit the e-brake and we'll talk about the next thing, which is what Holly gave us foreshadowing on. And Blizzard is unionizing, but they also decided to build a brand new AA studio under Activision and Blizzard to, quote, as Jez Corden from Windows Central reported, look at this new show I'm doing. I love this. Make a smaller team within Blizzard based on existing franchises. Microsoft wants its Xbox studios to collaborate more often and closely with each other, which is, we are starting to see a little bit of that where South of Midnight was getting help from Coalition. Coalition was helping Undead Labs, and these studios are working together. It's like, hey, you know that id team? Why don't you put them on Halo? That'd be amazing. Not even to gripe about anything that's good or not good about Halo, but everyone would say, yeah, let's get some people over at id to revitalize the next Halo game. But Microsoft wants those studios to work together. And when I see the quote I'm looking down here that says a smaller team to work on existing franchises under Blizzard, well, I mean, what are they working on? Holly, you're an expert on Blizzard. What would that be?
I know one game made by I know two games made by Blizzard.
I know like two games, yeah, StarCraft and World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Minecraft, StarCraft, Craft.
Yeah.
All the craft games.
Mineshaft. Yeah.
Mineshaft.
They're all PCs. So like that's my first question is, are these going to be PC games? Or are they going to be are they going to be console PC? What's the deal? Like, can we get some games out of Blizzard? Oh, that's Blizzard. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
See, we know more than two. I've only played one of them, no, two of them. But maybe, Phil was wearing that Hexen t-shirt. Don't you think the intent maybe is to go back and take some of those old IPs that people are always clamoring for, kind of take those and rework them and bring them back to the front and do some remakes or remasters? And
I mean, everyone always says games were better back then, so why not?
We are in the time. I mean, yeah, they saw the nostalgia play with Gears, and that's a huge, even Perfect Dark, right? Like, those are all old, but that's the right level of old. Like, there's so many people never played any of those, like, from that way, way back, right? That the new, like a Conquer, right? I always hear people ask for Conquer.
Yeah.
And so, not as much as Banjo, but Conquer I do hear. So, yeah, I think that I would be super into. I think that would be really cool because I didn't play a lot of those games that people always talk about, and I've seen the controls and the looks of those games, and I will not be going back and playing them in the original state. So yes, please bring it, remaster, remake, whatever you're doing, just like they're doing with Dead Rising. That would be great.
I don't really know. When I'm looking at a list right now. I had a bright screen on my face while I looked at this, but there's a list of franchises mostly made up of Warcraft, StarCraft, and Diablo, but there are a couple gems in there, and one really caught my eye to ask Red about. Apparently, Blizzard had an IP called The Lost Vikings that was in the late 90s, and it sounds like something that Red would clamor all over something. Are you familiar with this IP?
No. Do you remember the game? It's called Viking. I think it's just called Viking, and it's a third-person open hubbish. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. I remember it was one of the first games where you would walk, and if one leg was on something higher, the dude's leg would bend, his knee would bend, and I was like,
that was like next level.
Yeah, I was like, this is like the greatest game I've ever played.
The Division door closing moment. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I think it was called Viking Battle. I don't remember. Chat, help me out. What was it called? Anyway.
Viking Beards of Asgard.
Beards of Asgard, yeah.
I don't know.
This beard is on fire.
What if this studio was to revitalize, let me look at the quote again. Based on existing franchises, I mean, what if this studio was to take on whatever? Kind of like Holly said, anything that was existing, it didn't have to be Blizzard. What if it was Activision? Because Activision has a list of some 30 to 40 games, Prototype and Blur. I wanted to do a video about Blur, the racing kart racing game. I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's just, there's not really much to say on that topic, Red. I can't really, I don't know what to squeeze from you if they're going to build a new studio and when we'd finally see that happen.
So you're asking, do you think that they're going to bring back some of their old IPs that they had now that they have?
I mean, they said they are. Yeah. They said they are.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I just don't
okay.
know if
I mean,
it means Activision and Blizzard. If it does, that makes more sense because
right.
the small studio can make the next Spyro or whatever, right?
Right.
So.
I mean, I think nowadays so many of these studios are really trying to milk the already known IPs. That's why we're seeing so many remasters, because nostalgia is going to sell, or a big IP again like Star Wars is going to sell regardless. But something new really has to do something different nowadays. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was an amazing Nordic Viking. It's like the best Viking game that you can play right now. And I wish people would just give that game a shot without saying it's a terrible game because it has Assassin's Creed. It is an amazing. It's the same thing with Odyssey. Odyssey is such a good
game,
Greek mythology game.
They're like, it's a bad Assassin's Creed game, but it's a great game. Sorry.
It's a great game. Yeah. No, but I mean, that's the thing. So yeah, if they're going to pull some of these IPs that they've had dormant for a while, I would hope that it would be something cool, something to set it apart. Like if I would, the first thing that I think about whenever I think of Viking game, I do think about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And the Ubisoft has definitely cornered the market with having the ability to jump from timeline to timeline to really interesting settings. So yeah, hopefully they bring some stuff back. That's well, I say bring it back. It was never alive to begin with, but you know what I mean.
They need to, and maybe I need to save this topic for another time when there could be a lot more thought to it, because I've done content while ABK was trying to be acquired, because there are at least a dozen outstanding franchises that we can all probably name off the top of our head that need to be coming back. But basically, Activision is like the Call of Duty machine, and they don't do anything else. So let me read a couple supers here. We got Udana Kizado with a $2 super says, which chat member falls in love with Blue this week? Oh my gosh. I mean,
bad timing.
I don't understand. I mean, I love Yodani. I don't understand why he didn't say falls in love with Colt or Red, because I feel like we are also very delectable human beings on this planet Earth, aren't we, Red?
Yeah, delectable.
You can lick it. See that?
What? What? Hold on. What?
That was just perfect. No, I really didn't mean it because he.
Yep.
Because he said delectable.
Too much. I'm sorry.
Why do you have a hamster water nozzle thing on your? What is that?
She turned it upside down. It does look like that, doesn't it?
Literally. I don't know. I just like to go to Petco to get my
thing on the
I like
end.
to go to Petco to get my straws.
Exactly.
They give you a free hamster every time you buy it.
What the heck, Colt? You are no Ryan Reynolds? No, I'm more like
That was Britney Spears, though.
And that's coming from Britney Spears.
I'm more like I'm more like a 78-year-old Burt Reynolds is what I am. Grimm's like Colton Red. Ugh. Dang it. Well, I suppose none of you are going to buy the Colton Red calendar, and every month has a different picture.
Oh,
Yeah,
pole vaulting?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, trying to make the most unattractive face, that we possibly can on it. Great. It's going to be great. Once you get to December, you might be surprised. You think more clothes are going on?
Spark Q says, don't forget to check Red's OnlyFans. Lots of Tinky Winky pics and few lalas. Last night I made a if you become a channel member, maybe you'll get the Teletubbies Photoshop I did last night. Yeah.
Yes. That was so good. It's so good. I had to share that. It was so funny. For those of you on Twitter, but
and there is a bonus image if you become a platinum member. That's not really a tier, where I put Hargeet Chani as the son in Teletubbies. Hargeet Chani, like, good morning, bastards. So yeah, that's I love Hargeet so much, and he's so memeable. We love him.
I love it.
We are off the
rails. I love
rails.
it. Cypher says Red Durst.
No one is more uncool. than
God, I love
1999 Fred Durst. Or when was he?
Yes, he's Santa Claus.
Did you hear today that the lead singer of Puddle of Mud got in trouble and the SWAT team peppered him with non-lethal rounds?
It's so sad, man. Yeah.
For what?
What's his name? He's got problems. It sucks. Like I feel so bad for him.
I replied with the no, see, Harry Hill when he did the About a Girl cover.
I do. Yeah, it's really sad. Like honestly, like I feel bad for him because yeah, he even had an episode where he lost his mind and ran to his old house in Beverly Hills or wherever it was, and he was like, this guy stole my life. Yeah, like he started yelling at the guy. He stole my life. He stole my house. And this guy and the cops had to come and be like, come on, go and get. Yeah, so it sucks. It sucks.
They're already doing the everything's so blurry in the chat.
Cannot see at all. Yeah, exactly. So blurry.
See my view. Yeah,
man.
Wes Scatlin is his name. I remember.
Wes Scantlin, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank
he
you.
even looks.
Yes.
His name even says trouble.
I'm like, is it Lane Staley? Is it Stain Laley? Is it Lane? Scanlon.
That's
Alice
deceased
Chains.
Alice in Chains singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry about
Will
so
Brookboy
he got pepper
Lewis.
sprayed?
He got. They were non-lethal pepper balls, which Quiznos also has. If you want to add those to your sandwich, would you like any non-lethal pepper balls? Oh,
like,
you guys love me so much.
Yes.
Will Brookboy Lewis with the member chat says, so we have that blue number in Red Wolf attending. Does that make you Colt Greenwood for the night? Yeah. And I was actually the green Teletubby in the
exactly.
Colt Greenwood.
So good.
Assassin Entertainment.
You love the USA.
Yeah, I need red, white, and blue is what I need. Red, white, Colt Whitewood. Because, that would work. Assassin Entertainment says, stopping by to wish everyone a good show. Please support the Console War Kickstarter. Have a great show, and please remember, chat, Red Wolf doesn't flush. We got to save money.
I do actually. I courtesy flush. Like as soon as the action starts happening, flush just before anything. You guys know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep it PG.
You're the courtesy flusher? I hate courtesy.
Oh, I am. Just
before it hits terminal velocity, you're like,
yep. I'm just. It pulls it.
Why?
The toilet just.
Why is the handle in such an awkward, precarious place?
Where you're like,
why couldn't it be like where your seat recliner is on your car?
Pull a string.
You should be able to sit there and go, this should be like an e-brake.
Like, this is a big one. We got to roll back.
Right. You should have handles where you hold onto the top and you just pull as you know.
I think like in the 40s, it was like one of those strings that turns on a light bulb. Like you'd have the light bulb
I was
string.
joking.
Yeah, and it'd be like, you could go,
oh.
When you pull it, it makes the Xbox sound.
Yes. Achievement unlocked. Achievement unblocked. Yeah.
It's like the platinum achievement sound, that music. Oh my gosh. Why is it like here?
And then they make the ones with the buttons.
On the tank.
Oh yeah, that's right. It has to be. Okay, we're talking to the hydrologist here.
The buttons. It's like directly centered with my spinal cord. So I'm like,
but all you need is a stick and a lever, up to a stick to a lever to the lever, till you get the head and the flow.
Or you
and
just
the Darcy Weisbach equation.
Your dog would be like, "Ooh, look at the toys."
Yeah, over and over again. Why is my water bill $737,000 this month? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would happen. Yeah.
Do you guys care about Valorant? Valorant just hit console. If it's still in my, let me see if it is. Nope, that's not it. That's the invite for. Hold on, let me grab this. No, I can't grab that. Can I? I can do it here. I'm gonna drop a code for Valorant bucks. Because Red and I played the game the other day, and I was like, I won't play this. It just didn't feels exciting to me as I thought it would. Let me grab this really quick because we're talking about toilets. What better time?
You guys are killing me.
Skillet will just put a Game Pass Ultimate new member code in there too because he bought a Fire Stick. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that and that made me think. What a good idea. Why were we talking about? Oh, cool. Red doesn't flush. Okay. Okay, let me see here.
Jacob 2+ said, I told y'all red is here. It's gonna go off the rails. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put it. It's first come, first serve. So get your copy C, copy V ready. Valorant Bucks is what I'm gonna call it, and then I'm going to put it. Let's see. Delete. While I'm doing that, let's multitask. Oh, let me get to the next one. True77 has been a channel member since like Ecstasy started. He says, I can't watch tonight, but want to stop by, smash the like button, say hi. Have a great time, everyone. Thank you so much, True. Yes, please, if you're having an okay time, if you're learning something, please support us by hitting the like button. It's nice to do. It's nice to see that. Let me, I think this is it. This is almost ready. I had to take the other, yep. Let me make sure. Below is a token. Here we go. Valorant. Oh, I'm so sorry. There it goes. There it is. Okay, it should be in there. My friend Game Seeker, thank you so much for the Canadian $50 super chat that he dropped like 17 minutes ago. We appreciate you, buddy. He says, Forza Horizon 5 is announcing a brand new mode and partnership at Gamescom. What do you think the new mode and partnership would be? I did not know this. I don't know what the mode or partnership would be, but Red, do you have any idea?
Forza Horizon 5. Okay, so Playground Games. This is yeah, I know Assassin always joked they're gonna open the studio so they can make Banjo. But what I think, whatever's going on behind the scenes with Fable probably looks really awesome. And I think that allowed them some leeway as far as like, hey, look how good this is. Let's open up a secondary studio to have some tertiary content.
Thirdary.
Thirdary?
Thirdary studio.
Third area. Yeah, thank you. To just to focus on some more AA stuff with a similar level of quality, because the public doesn't see what Playground is up to, but obviously the higher ups behind the scenes are seeing the level of quality. And again, hey, we've seen the game, kind of. Fable, almost said Fallout. So my speculation is that they've seen it and said, you know what, you guys are in good. What would you do with another studio? And then they would say, well, something like a Banjo, yeah, like a little AA, little AA something. I don't know, because this isn't a support studio or anything. That would.
It's a new studio, and Fable and Forza Horizon are AAA franchises. Yeah. So maybe they want to do something of their own. Holly, what do you think Playground's third studio? This wasn't even the question, but we'll roll with it while I get a bottle of water. What do you think Playground's third studio would want to do?
Yeah, I think their third studio for now is for support for Fable, because that is ticking. The clock's ticking on that. And especially with Microsoft having these little oopsies with dates, even though they didn't give an avowed date.
Sorry, I'm just being funny. Go ahead, I'm listening.
They didn't give an avowed date, but they leaked it. We knew it was supposed to be this fall, and then they had to do another, we're gonna back that up a little bit. So I think when Fable, we know Fable's supposed to be coming out next year for the most part, we think. So I think that all hands on deck to get that thing ready for the date that it's announced without any moving of the date, if at all possible. But I think that's the primary focus right now, with future options to, do some new stuff.
I don't think you need a third new studio to support Fable. My guess would be Playground wants to do more than just race and swing a sword around for 8 seconds, which is all we've seen.
Yeah.
I think they're a little, And they should do more than racing. But the question was about Forza Horizon 5.
It was. Game
Right?
Seeker said that they're, I'm going to go back to it. Forza Horizon 5 is announcing a brand new mode and partnership at Gamescom. What do you think this new mode and partnership could be? So when I think of partnership, as I'm just dissecting Game Seeker's super here, they did a partnership with Lego. They've done a partnership with Hot Wheels. A new partnership. I automatically think toys, Micro Machines. That was the rumor when the Lego expansion came out in 2019, was that it was a Micro Machines partnership. There aren't many partnerships that are like in the popular realm of car related things. I have always thought, I even hinted at this when I talked about Activision, that if Forza Horizon 5 wanted a new mode, and I don't think they're supposed to have another DLC, I thought they'd be working on the next game, but my dream would be for them to actually build into Forza Horizon a kart racer battle a la Blur or Mario Kart, but with the real cars. And if you played Blur from Activision in 2009 or 2011, whenever that came out, 2010 is when Blur came out. Blur was licensed cars, realistic cars, real looking locations, and you drove over shockwaves and missiles and EMPs and all that stuff. And it was a kart racer on lapped tracks, and it failed. People loved it. Do you guys remember this game? Blur, the racing game, 2010?
I remember the name, but I'd never played it because there was Blur, Dirt, Dust,
Grid,
there was
Mud.
Blurt, Mud. Yeah, there's a lot of those
Tires.
during that time. Tires.
Yeah.
Wheelman.
Esquel Montes says, I love Blur. Noise Fomo says, love Blur. It did not do very well. It was a critical failure sales-wise. It released 3 months after Split Second, which was kind of like a very similar style game. Blur was great, but
Studio head was, I believe, was Wes Scanlon.
The guy from Puddle of Mud. Everything's so blurry.
Blurry.
It all comes full circle.
It usually does.
Yeah.
Blur was awesome, chat. Yes, thank you. I agree. I played a few matches of it, and I rented it from Blockbuster and returned it. I'm like, I don't really need this right now. And I think that's what the world said. But Forza Horizon with an additional game mode, but that wouldn't be a Game Seeker. That wouldn't be a franchise partnership. So I don't know. I don't know what it would be. But thank you for that. Let's see. We got Game Pass Ultimate code was given out a couple minutes ago. Thank you, Skill at Will, for doing that. Skill at Will says, I got my new Xbox Series FS, the Fire Stick. I guess I should try that. Noise Fomo, thank you so much for the Canadian $2. Says, thoughts on Darksiders? Never played. You guys rule. I think this question is for Red. Are you a Darksiders fan?
Yes, I am a big Darksiders fan. Yeah. What was the question again?
Never played. Oh, thoughts on Darksiders? Never played.
Oh yeah. So basically, Darksiders, essentially, I'll speak on Darksiders 2. The franchise as a whole, Darksiders 2 is the one that's most loved. It is a dark Zelda, essentially. And when I say it's like Zelda, I mean that it's the mechanics, the idea of the big open world, lots of traversal. The combat is like God of War, like old school God of War. So you have like a lot of finishers, upgrading your weapons and whatnot. A lot of combos. It's very like Devil May Cry, God of War mixed with this really cool mythology with an awesome art style that I believe, chat, keep me honest, was it Todd McFarlane, the artist of Spawn, and of course a lot of other cool things, believe was the inspiration for that, or maybe he's actually the one that did the art style for that. But Darksiders, essentially, you play as each game, you play as one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So the first game you play as War, the second game you play as Death, the third game you play as Fury. Then there was a spin-off where you play as Strife and War
That was like the
together.
isometric one.
Yeah, it's the isometric game. So yeah, guys, if you've never played Darksiders, oh my god, please give it a shot. Just look at the screenshots. Just see if it grabs you, because it really does kind of have to grab you. The tone is so cool. Whenever you're playing as these characters, you walk around the world and you're like, why is this car like so tiny? And it's because you're playing as dudes that are like 12 feet tall, and you're walking around this world as like as a horseman. The mythology is so cool. That's one of like the big hooks to it. So. Too long didn't listen. Play it.
It's also got a little bit of the original God of War mechanics in the combat in a lot of ways. When I played it, it reminded me of that. I guess they're working on. Sure. That's the rumor. They're working on another Darksiders game. The third one didn't do very well, but yeah.
No, with the third one, that they tried to go a little more Dark Soulsy, so they tried to appeal to that audience, and I don't really think it worked very well, in my opinion. It didn't. It was really unnecessary. The difficulty. It just didn't. It didn't elevate anything. Like the games already have a learning curve to it, I guess, in terms of like the flow of the combat, and that was sort of like the difficulty, just learning new enemies every time that you would find a new enemy to fight, and what you had to do to, get them open and vulnerable. But 3 was odd, and I didn't finish it. Not gonna lie, I didn't finish it.
The first one ran at 60 frames on the 360. I remember thinking, why does it look so amazingly shiny? And my daughter walked in. This is back in like 2011 or whatever. I played Darksiders 1, 2010. My daughter walked in. She goes, "Whoa, is that on Blu-ray?" It's because most games ran at 30 and like looked really flittery. But Holly, this super chat from you, Donnie, is for you, because your internet's working great, by the way, since you restarted. Everything's been smooth.
I put it on my mobile hotspot.
Really?
Yeah.
It's working great. Yeah, because Yodani says with the $2 super, Holly using the LTE from her Altima's infotainment system.
That's Yodani.
Should we kick him from the chat, guys? You guys want to vote on kicking Yodani for being
his time is done.
messy? Yeah, he was good for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun while it lasted, Yodani. See ya.
Yeah.
God, it's terrible. It's terrible. He said bye.
I'll just leave then. Yeah, Yodani's another person we were lucky to meet with in person at the showcase in June. So, anyway. So one of the big news items, no segue, I'll just go right into it, was that Xbox, everyone in Asia hates Xbox. That was basically the gist of it. A supposed developer from the S Game Studio. Make sure I have all this news right. Yeah. S Game Studio that's making Phantom Blade Zero, a Souls-like game, said basically that nobody wants an Xbox in Asia, and the platform is too difficult to develop for. And this is something we've heard from lots of different studios, and then everybody, all the journalists, I even posted about it. I didn't leave any editorial, Holly. I just said, this is what they said. Here's the quote. And everyone's like, it's bull crap. It's not real. Why do you believe this? It came off of Reddit. The very next day, we get a report from an actual statement from the S Game Studio that's making Phantom Blade Zero. They said, quote, "We want to clarify that these claim statements do not represent S Game's values or culture, as we believe in making our games accessible for everyone and have not ruled out any platforms for Phantom Blade Zero," close quotes. What I gather from that was one of their devs probably spoke out of turn, and they had to say, hey, that's not how we are, without saying, hey, that was one of us. I personally believe it was a developer, because I think developers can have whatever opinion they want. They don't have to speak on behalf of a company, especially when they say they're anonymous. So I totally am forgiving of someone saying something like that. But I think everyone needs to have a better understanding of what's going on. And Xbox certainly needs to do a better job of their porting process for smaller studios. Holly, did you see the outfall from this? Or what was your takeaway?
Yeah, I saw this and I quickly rolled past it because I was like, this is silly. But like, I mean, on one hand, I think somebody in the chat actually wrote it, and it's spot on. They said I wouldn't say they hate. It's just absolute indifference for Xbox in Asia, and I think that's true. They're not wrong there. It's just, as an Xbox owner, if you only have an Xbox, it's a little frustrating, feels a little personal, right? When people say stuff like that, because you're like, okay, thanks. Like,
'Cause
I
we
made
want
a choice
games.
and I want to play here.
Yeah.
Right. I made a choice. I want to play here. Why am I being why are you gatekeeping me when you're a third party developer? If it's a Sony studio, that's fair, whatever, right? But I think it's just that from a financial position, if these Asian developers, PlayStation's everywhere there, right? It's PC. It's literally anything but Xbox. So for them, it makes more, they just naturally, well, I'm going to develop for PC. I'm going to develop for Sony, and I'll get to Xbox if it's financially viable, right? And it's not always like, it may not, depending on how the game is set up or what their development process was, be something that's worth it to them. I'm guessing, or it's just, I don't care. Like, they're the lowest market share. We're going to get the biggest bang for the buck here. The return on investment is fine enough that I'm good here to keep doing what I'm doing and move on, which, as Xbox owners, is really, it's really bummer, it's really frustrating. And that's when you do call on Xbox, like, hey, this is a letdown, and it's not, I don't know that it's always like, it's not their fault per se, right? But that's a persona or a perception issue, right?
Yeah.
And it's up to them to really work on that, right? Like, hey, we have all of these, 50 million people or whatever it's playing across all platforms, or et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, I'm rambling, but it really sucked, and it gets you kind of like hot in the pants when you see it, and then you're like, oh, stop.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
I am so hot in the pants right now. I can't even tell you.
I gotta walk it back.
Yeah. You imagine being in a meeting. I'm having an episode of Hot Pants right now.
In my pants.
We have one of two options. I can take them off now, or I can leave and go home and play Xbox.
I mean, I'm liking the PowerPoint presentation, but I'm really hot in the pants right now.
Love the presentation, but it's getting me really hot in the pants. You can leave.
I can't take not another slide. I'm already at full capacity in the thermal pants area.
Spontaneous combustion is imminent.
Yeah, exactly. Not the good kind. Yeah, maybe this is a lot of like projecting, because whenever I first saw this, I thought, so they don't play on Xbox. Clearly, they don't have that mind share of like, yeah, my friends that are on Xbox. They probably have no friends that are on Xbox, and spoke out of turn, as we see that happen a lot. And this person is, like I said, just projecting because they're not a fan of Xbox, and because it didn't seem to me like they were like hating on it, but it was just like it's so hard to develop to create games for. It's like, maybe because you're not used to that, you're not used to developing for it because you're a studio that exclusively makes games for PlayStation. What other games has a studio made?
I don't think they do, and I want to make sure I course correct some of what Red's saying, because this is a studio that's in China and they're making a game, and I would say my assumption is this developer is in Asia. This developer knows that Xbox is nearly invisible there. And if you're a limited studio or smaller studio and your bosses are telling you, we're going to make this game for PlayStation and PC because that's where the biggest platform is. Not because a developer in Asia, Red, shouldn't be saying no one buys Xboxes here. That's an out of turn statement that S Game Studios immediately walked back. They didn't say it was their employee, and they don't even have to. It could be somebody that used to work there. The point is that the perception of that employee was that no one buys an Xbox in Asia. Why would we buy the game there? But there's no reason to give up a 30 million platform of consumers on the Xbox console and say, we're not going to make the Xbox console version. But you definitely can say, like Holly said, it's going to cost extra time and money to make the Xbox version. We're just finishing up the PlayStation PC version. That's on Xbox. Xbox should make sure that their PC and Xbox development process is nearly identical or just as easy so that they're not missing out on games. We see this all too much where games are missing Xbox. And so my takeaway from this, Red, is that the developer was just saying, hey, this is how I see it. And I'll say it again, they should be allowed to say something, and they don't have to be speaking on behalf of S Game Studios. But
right.
Yeah.
But to say like it's useless and no one cares, that's kind of like what I took out of it, was like,
yeah,
it's pointless and no one's on it anyway. It's like that's on a professional level, you shouldn't talk like that at all. And I'm sure that, like you said, that person probably got reprimanded.
Sure.
You do not represent
you don't say that.
Yeah, you can't say that. You don't represent the beliefs of the entire studio. You're one dude, and that's it, or woman, or whatever. Yeah, I just feel like it was just an immature thing to say, and I always hate to hear it from devs, because then it kind of makes you feel like, oh man, there is, like, it makes you wonder, like, for example, Insomniac. Do you think do you think that there could be developers within Insomniac that say, it'd be cool if this game was on Xbox, but here we are making PlayStation.
I love that you're asking this, and I could say lots, but that's a really good position. Holly, what do you think about these owned studios? Like, what do you think what Red's asking? Like, say it again. Ask Holly.
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
Do you want to say it again?
I'll ask you again. Do you think?
Because I talked.
Do you think that there are developers within studios, PlayStation or Xbox, where they are limited exclusively to the PlayStation or Xbox developing, like, so Insomniac or Halo, just for example, and someone developing Halo says, wouldn't it be cool if this was on PlayStation, or vice versa? Insomniac says, be cool if Spider-Man was on my Xbox.
Yeah, there's a lot that was one of the thoughts I was having when we were talking about that, as far as like return on investment, whether it's worth it for them or not. But as a developer, even if you're like, but why? The thought is, if this is your art, this is your craft, but why wouldn't I want more people to play my game and think, hey, this was a really cool game? And even then, on the studio side, right? Like, yes, it's going to cost a little more, it's going to do this, but then if these people see this game and they like it, it's going to build more of an audience base, or it's going to build our reputation, which builds our brand, etc. But more importantly, like we saw with Bethesda, right? When they were bought, that certain people in the company were not very happy that their games were going to be locked strictly to Xbox. And all of that came out when they found out that Activision and, was going to be everywhere, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't, like, it's a hard thing, right? As a platform owner, you want to make sure you have value on your platform, so that we're not talking about this exact thing that we're talking about right now, so that you have games that are exclusive to your platform to keep it viable. But at the same time, I completely understand why you would want everybody to see the labor of your love for the last 5 to 7 years and be able to experience it, give you feedback so you can be better. All of the stuff that comes with, you worked on this thing for this long and you want people to see it. So it's a tough thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that happens a lot. I don't think in the game's development, there are really that many console warriors or platform warriors that fight for the company to be exclusive, or let me say that better, said that there aren't people who are just like, I'm glad we're only on PlayStation. I don't think that attitude exists amongst people that make games. And I often see, I used to use a lot of B-roll footage from studios that Xbox had brought onto the fold, and they're showing B-roll around the studio, and you'll see PlayStation games sitting on the shelves of developers. And they probably look at games like Insomniac's titles and go, What can we do that they do great? Because they're all just trying to make really great games. This goes back to the Phantom Blade Zero. I really think it's all about these smaller studios. It's just more time and money. And I wish Xbox was doing something, because one of the questions I want to ask both of you was that when a developer says no one really cares about Xbox, it's not a big enough platform, I don't think that statement is easily dismissed, especially in the world we live in. And I don't care if you claim to be or not be a console warrior, the journalists definitely latch on. When someone says no one cares about Xbox, that's a major news item. And that's why that blew up. Yeah. That's not taken lightly. And I think there probably are people here or there who are like, no one cares about Xbox, or I can't really stand PlayStation, and I used to work for them, or my buddy worked for PlayStation. I'm sure that stuff happens. But I think developers need to be careful about when they make statements like that, because it's like lighting a dry meadow on fire. It goes pretty crazy. Yeah.
Hey, Scallywag says, my daughters all wanted PCs, no interest in consoles. The future looks bad for consoles long term with closed ecosystems. Oh, hey, isn't that something that's
well, I know zero about game development as far as like the architecture stuff and all of that, but like dumb question, but like why with Xbox being with Microsoft being Xbox and Windows, right?
Yes.
And the things that come along with PC. Maybe you could explain, Colt, but why do they not basically make an Xbox in the undercarriage exactly the same as a PC game?
Hot pants undercarriage?
Yeah. So that it'll spontaneously combust into an Xbox platform when you hit a button. You know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't that seem like if you're already developing for PC, why wouldn't you make it like this much different so that it plays on a console versus a Windows?
Yeah, exactly.
You make such a great point, and it actually leads into one of the other topics that we're talking about today, because Xbox recently updated their GDK to an XDK, their development kit. It was already more difficult when compared to PlayStation. PlayStation's porting process was fine. The PS5 porting process was identical to the PS4, so there was no change in how they do things. It's been noted that their documentation and their instruction set to port a game on Xbox is more difficult than it should be. And Xbox's team should be doing something to fix that. But essentially the Xbox version is always paired with the PC. If you have a first-party game from Xbox, it's always put on PC. PC games and console games shouldn't be that different. And Xbox should be striving to make their platform on Xbox to be very similar to PC. So if you make a game on PC, it should be, just like you said, Ollie, so perfectly, it should be this much different. We'll just have this great grammar. It'd be amazing. This much more differenter to make your game on. Well, somebody will clip me like, Colt doesn't know how to talk. I put a sidebar. I put out a tweet the other day.
Colin.
I love, Look, Colin's like, he doesn't know how to talk. I put out a tweet about the I forgot the name of the female with the goblin ears, the furry girl from Avowed, and I said, just days after Valentine's Day, you can fall in love with her, and people are probably like, Colt likes that character. It's like, it's a joke. It's fun. She's supposed to be a fun character. It's a joke. It's like nobody falls in love with Phoebe from Assassin's Creed. Or from Mass Effect Andromeda. Assassin's Creed Andromeda is a great game.
That would be good.
I don't care about out of context, but yeah, it should be this much more differenter to make the Xbox version. So let me look and see if this would be speaking of Avowed, we should have gotten this. We'll go to this right now since I brought up Avowed. That was the big news item of a few days ago. I've known about. Or I've known, I could have told you many times that Avowed would get pushed to 2025. And last week, Holly and Red, Meg and I sat here and went over the packed fall schedule, or how would I gotta think globally, the end of the year schedule for games. And it wasn't just Xbox games. Xbox had 4 or 5 games set for the end of the 2024, but they also had partnerships and Game Pass editions that were coming in that window. One of them is a partnership with Dragon Age Veilguard, which has yet to see its release date. And they decided, I think Xbox now knows when Veilguard comes out, and they just, because of Stalker's delay, with great video on Red's channel. Go check out Red's Stalker video. It talks about the delay, but mostly talks about how great the franchise is. And he covers the 3 games that you can play on console right now and what you can expect for them. So go check out that video. It's really cool. It's about 8 minutes long, if I remember right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, bro. I'm saying a lot. I'm trying to remember where I was. Avowed got pushed to 2024-5.
Yeah. The window.
I knew this was going to happen. And Mag and I took a lot of flack from some of you in the chat because we were talking about how there's a problem with the end of the year schedule and that something like Indie or Avowed might get moved. I have a couple of ideas why Indie's not being moved. Indie's going to come out in 2024, but I think Avowed was going to move, and it did. And sometimes a broken clock is right twice a day, whatever. So I'll start with you, Red, because I don't know. How do you feel about the Avowed Delayed? Is it the end of the world? What are the good? What are the bad? Give me both of those. Look at it.
That was really weird. Did anyone else see that?
What? I hit my desk. What did it do?
It was like, bling. Anyway, that was crazy. Chat. Anyway, that was like, I thought the world blew up. Anyway, so yeah, Avowed. Thank you so much, Happy Bomb, for linking my channel on chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You guys love me so much.
Thank you so much.
This is my burden.
Yeah,
You have earned it. You have earned it.
she was delirious and sick, and she's like, whatever. Wow. Yeah. So Avowed getting a delay. Someone asked me before, do you think that this has anything to do, or how is it going to look? How is it going to affect the other games in the pipeline? Are other
Isn't
games
it hard
going
to
move?
think sometimes?
Thinking is really hard, especially whenever you have a lot of all these lights and stuff.
Well, hold on. You two, Holly and Red, are doing such a great job. Give a thumbs up in the chat. You don't even have to like the video. You can just show your support for them. I really appreciate him being here and having friends who say, hey, I'll waste a couple hours of my day with you. It really means a lot. So I appreciate you both. Go ahead, Red. Take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, man. Of course. Someone. I was on the Aim Down Sights podcast with Red Dead Panda and Next Gen Nero, and we were talking about. They asked me, "Do you think that Avowed if Stalker is going to change anything as far as the release schedule?" And I think that Stalker being out of the way gave a lot of room for games like Avowed. Like, no one's going to move out of the way for Stalker. People might move out of the way for Dragon Age Veilguard. People will definitely move way out of the way for games like GTA, but there are so many games in the Xbox pipeline. Call of Duty, exactly what I was getting to, and especially Call of Duty, releasing in November, right? So I'm so excited, and Holly's got to get Cold War because she didn't know.
Cold War. They won't drop the ding dang thing in Game
know.
Pass, and
it's
so
still
mad.
full price. It's still
Cheapies.
full price, and
Ridiculous.
It's the prequel. It's the prequel to Black Ops 6, and it's so good, guys. She hasn't played Cold War, so don't do anything in chat. Anyway, but yeah, so Avowed getting a delay, I think, is a good thing. And I think it does make sense with Stalker and Avowed. Like, how can we put these guys in position to make room for? We don't want to over encumber our players whenever Black Ops drops into Game Pass. You have Avowed in Game Pass. You have Dragon Age not in Game Pass, but still a huge IP.
And
like
they're partnering with
Outlaws.
it, marketing it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it just makes sense. It just works. So yeah, I would say that Avowed getting a delay overall, I think, is a good thing because there are so many games, and out of all the games that you would want to really focus on, I would think that Avowed should be either way before all these other games or way after, in terms of release. And so I think it's a good thing. Like, whenever I heard that Avowed got delayed, I was kind of like, yeah, like,
okay.
I can focus on it whenever it comes out, whenever I get to play it, because there's so many games coming out. Too many games coming out. Yeah, so did I answer your question?
Well, you said the good, so this makes it a great setup for Holly to say what is not good about Avowed being moved, because Avowed Stalker 2 took Avowed's release date, basically the week of. So Holly, I don't mean to make you be the negative person, but what's not good about the Avowed Delayed? Like, how you feeling about it? You can give us the good too.
Yeah, I was actually, oh, thank God. When it got delayed, because I was like panicking about all of the games, because you haven't even talked about the Zelda game that's coming out and Astrobot, and like there's other stuff too,
Shadows,
right? Yes, which will be my first Assassin's Creed game ever. So so yes, I was just like, oh, thank goodness. However, what I would like to know is, when Stalker said we can't make September, do they consult with Xbox and say, I think we're thinking around this date, or do they just be like, we can't make September, we're going November 20th or whatever it is, and you're just like,
I mean, they'd have to have a conversation. Like, they've got a partnership with them, right? They'd have to be in the loop, right?
Thing. Right. There has to be a conversation that happens there. And they know people are, I would wager that the general population is more excited for Stalker than they are Avowed.
Okay.
It's a different, obviously they're very different games, but I would just say the general hype for Stalker is larger. So I am not surprised that Avowed moved to get out of its way. And I think it's a good thing for Avowed, because that Obsidian is fantastic. They're really good.
Yeah.
And this game has gone back and forth, and it's had a bit of an identity crisis in the perception of what people saw with the first trailer. I was one of them, versus everything else that's been seen. So, like, on one hand, you're just like, it's another like little flub for this game that's been chugging along, and it's had some issues, right, with perception and et cetera. But to me personally, for them to give them the best opportunity that they've got for this game to really see as much audience as they can, it's way better for it to be in the spring. And I think it shows better confidence in the game too, to put it out there on its own and not have it swallowed up. Like, if it's not a very good game and it's getting covered by all these other games, it kind of gets, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get as much vitriol, right? About, it's a crap game. Of course, another Xbox game that fails and misses the mark and all that. Yeah. But to put it out there in February 18th, right? Then it's kind of like, okay, well, they must be confident that it's at least going to do okay.
Well, I have a couple of disagreements.
Okay.
February, February, I would say maybe February might be okay, we'll put it out there and it doesn't have to live up to the expectations of a North American holiday release game. But then again, some amazing games come out in February and April, like Elden Ring and other games have come out in that window. So I can't say that that's like we'll just hide it over here. But the confidence, but also Red, they've never shown us any. This game was set to come out in a couple of months. They'd never shown us any of the third-person combat at all. And a lot of people in the chat and the audience and other comment sections have said that Avowed looked undercooked, or it didn't look like it was quite ready. And so you guys are absolutely right. More time for that game to really shine is better. So my disagreements are very little. I would also feel like Obsidian is very confident they're going to make a really cool RPG, and I'm right with you, Holly. We were all amongst the same people that said this game looked like the next generation Skyrim. It looked very mature and gritty, and then it comes out and it's like with the colorful colors, which I'm still on board with. I think the game looks really fun. So I don't know. What were you going to say, Red?
It just takes some adjustment. I was going to say what Holly was saying. When I had to step away for a second because my son Finn, my dog chat. Okay. Salute Stilo Facts. I love that you said that. is that whenever a studio says, "Hey, we need some more time," what does that look like internally? And I said this on ADS. I was saying I'm sure that they would go, "Hey guys, how are you looking? How was the game coming along?" Well, there are a few things that we need to sort of iron out. So and then they go,
Well,
"Hey,"
when they ask, do they have their hands on their hips like this? How's it looking?
yeah. So would you look at this? Look at that? Look at this? Look at that? Yeah, that's pretty much how they. Would you just look at this? Look at this bug right here. Would you just look at that? Look at it. Chad, I hope you guys know what we're referencing. It anyway, it's an Ed Bassmaster. But yeah, I would assume I in a perfect world, I would hope that they would say, "How are you doing? How is everything going? Do you need anything?" And there are some things that we need to iron out. Well, do you need any more time? And they go, "Yeah. What can you get us?" Well, we'll get back to you on
Or
this.
should we delay? Like, I know those conversations
Right.
are. I have to interject in there that I'm so glad that Avowed didn't say, "Can we just get like a month?" And then they come out in December, which I
Right.
think would have looked really bad. So I'm with
Yeah.
Holly that moving it to February does show some confidence that, like, because I think February is a good time for games to come out. And I think it also says the game wasn't ready to rock. It needed more than just to move out of the way of Stalker.
Right, exactly. And I'm sure that they were looking at both of those games and thinking, well, where can we put you? And then they get back to GSE Game World and say, does a 2-month window work for you? Does November sound good? And they're like, how much? See, what do we actually need to focus on? We need to polish some of the, I don't know, acceleration with aiming, or I always bring that up, or like the shaders in the Red Forest for you nerds out there, for Stalker fans. The Red Forest is really heavy on the CPU, so we're trying to iron that out because it's huge frame drops. And they go, okay, do you think you can fix that in a few months? And they go, here's your one window. Does that work? Yes, cool. And then they go, hey, look, now that that's open, we can move Avowed completely out of the out of the release window that we had before.
Well,
so
let's
I'm
hope
hoping
that
that's how it
Stalker
works.
actually stays on that date then.
Yeah.
You know
I
what? That's
literally
the
just
other.
got a comment. I literally just got a comment on my Stalker video that says GTA 6 will be out before Stalker 2 actually gets released.
I think Stalker is cemented at this point. It's too close.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also said the same thing about Cyberpunk when it got delayed and delayed and delayed. Like that last delay, we're like, really? Like all the yellow chairs are like, really? Holly, you don't have a yellow chair. Uh-oh.
Oh, look at that. A huge reveal. That was so
We look at it?
He's like,
we just look at it. Do it, Red.
Amazing.
Look at that chair.
Just look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Oh, you got me running around the chair.
Oh, I got Randall Thor to finally play Cyberpunk, and he's like, I'm so glad I waited. It's so amazing. I'm like, bro, it was amazing back in 2020 or 2021. Whatever. It was fantastic.
Facts.
It was so good. Fact that it.
And speaking of which, I always had to shout out Risk It for the Biscuit every time we talk about Cyberpunk, because they added a whole tram system to the game for free, where that people asked for free.
Yeah.
Holly, I heard the conversation. It's a feature. It's not an expansion. It's not paid for. They added it because people wanted it. Well, because it took them so long to actually get that feature into the game. Risk it. Arch.
Did he say absolutely at any point during that conversation?
He said it's absolutely. Yeah, we love Risk It. Anyway, Risk It, play Cyberpunk.
Shout out to our wonderful Australian viewers. And if you're in the chat, say something. Red, that was New Zealand. Yes. That's my fault.
It is New Zealand, 100%. Yes, it is.
But I make him do it anyway. He knows that it's his like perfect New Zealand accent, but I make him do that anyway because
it's hard. It's hard to juggle that. Yeah, the New Zealand is like you put like a way more errors there where it doesn't. Where Australians is like much more open, like owls.
Well, and Risk It's in Western Australia, and the Eastern Australian accent is also different.
That's right. It's absolutely right, Holly.
And he says no.
No.
I saw
There's always an R at the end.
I saw an
Ramona,
interview
it's like,
where they asked Hugh Jackman how he got rid of his Australian accent for Wolverine, and I'm like sitting there going, he didn't get rid of his Australian accent. People have had it wrong for so many years. He's doing an English American accent when he plays Logan.
Yeah.
And that's always the perception, like, how did you get rid of your accent when you moved here from Japan? And I didn't know that until I worked with a guy who was married to a native from Japan, and we talked about her accent, and he explained to me, it's like, no, she's just learning the syllables and the pronunciation of American English. And we always look at it backwards. And yeah, I bet I sounds funny whenever I go somewhere that, but over in the US, people speak all kinds of different accents, and even just American. So let's see. Noise FOMO once read to do a mag impersonation. All you have to do is just yell in Canadian.
And call somebody in chat, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Noise Mofo, I saw what you did there. I saw what you did there. I saw the noise. I saw
Say
the mo.
you have to say progress. You have to say progress and
Progress, Johnner.
And let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something.
John.
Let me tell you something.
with Mag, you have to do like a wrestling character. Oh yeah.
Ooh, brother, what's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother?
Oh.
How come that's been a thing?
Cyberpunk.
How come that hasn't been a thing with the brother thing? What's the brother guy doing nowadays?
That guy's probably famous,
right?
He never got famous.
That's what I was gonna say. His whole church is probably filled up with brothers.
We
They
need a
show
video
up with
game
two brother
character based on him. Ooh, brother.
Do you think his church is just called Church
That's
of
your
Brothers?
next character creator.
Absolutely.
Is the Ooh brother?
I want to play as that guy in Star Wars Outlaws. That's what I want.
Oh, can you imagine? And every time he does it, he goes, brother, ooh, and he just force pushes somebody completely. Brother, ooh, brother, ooh.
Right when you get spotted, he's like, "Ooh, brother."
Yeah, and they
pushes
just
a guy
get, like,
across the prairie.
cannonballed. Yeah, exactly.
Just barely
Launch
goes,
across the field.
"Ooh," and the guy's like, "Whoa." Yeah.
Exactly. Like Force Unleashed. Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Bring down a whole Star Destroyer. Is that what they call it? Michael
God, I
Angel
miss
Ezekiel Ortiz. You see, Michael Angel Ezekiel Ortiz with a $5 super chat says, "You guys rock." Just a reminder. Also, next Xbox should be more of a PC just to make the porting that much easier. And he says, "Rest in peace to Game Informer." Game Informer magazine and website was shut down, defunded, and
yeah.
this is really bothered people. But one of the employees spoke out about how everything kind of came to an end and it wasn't nice. And they had such a legacy of 30, 25 years or whatever of reporting on video games and great famous covers for exposés on or pieces about games that are coming out. GameStop corporate deactivated the Twitter account that was saying goodbye. Like they never got a true send off. It's really ridiculous. And I've refrained from attacking GameStop because I have a good friend that works there and manages one, but that's just a corporate thing. How stupid. But Game Informer was a big part of our lives from the late 90s on, I think it was. I don't know. You guys are younger than I am by a long shot, but thank you, Michael Angel Ortiz, Ezekiel Ortiz. Appreciate you so much. Grandpa's Barbecuer Game Cat with the Australian 10. I'm going to get back to Ezekiel's Ortiz's. I want to call him Ezekiel because that's a cool part. Another great part of his name. I'm going to get back to what you said there. We're going to call you Mazik. Very cool. Very cool. Mazik. Mazik.
La, 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 la.
They removed my ring finger. I am Mazika. Mazika. Yeah.
I am Mazika Assassinino. La, 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 la. You know, I
go,
actually, let me tell you something. I had such a
yeah, go ahead.
with the pasta and yeah, I had such a bad day today, and I just want to thank
When
you.
you're here, your family. My name is Ezio. El of the Referenze that I don't know. Go ahead. You what?
I have to do that today. So I'm sitting there playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate like an hour before the show started, and I'm like, I'm in such a bad mood. And out loud, I literally by myself, I'm sitting in my living room playing a game, and I went, "Ha la 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 ha ha he he hoo," trying to just make myself laugh, trying to get myself like in a good
Trying to
mood.
make
I was
yourself
like, I need
happy.
Yeah, I'm like, I forgot what happiness is because the past 2 freaking weeks I've been like, I hate everything right now because work has been so bad.
Scallywag says, Colt, never go full Zorro.
Oh, no.
That purse. Doesn't look good on you.
Hey man, never go full Zorro. God, yeah, that's
Jonas,
every
Jonas
time.
in the chat.
Every
Shout out
time.
to Jonas. Says Colt's going to be on the no-fly list at this rate.
Yeah, exactly. Is that the Zorro guy? Yeah, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
I have my passport.
My sword, my mask. Can I bring this on? Or...
Can I have this carry on?
Oh, my God.
Yes. Michael Angel Ezekiel Ortiz says Colt was Spanish in another life.
He does a great Spanish accent. I love it.
Well, the line, that purse doesn't look good on you, is actually Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he's from Brussels. So I don't even know how to
like
do.
Nacho Libre.
Yeah, it's like get those chips out of my face. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you there was an interview that I heard about? Shout out to Christian Harloff, who's been in the movie industry for a long time, and he interviewed
Is that the lead singer of
Jean-Claude
Puddle of
Van
Mud?
Damme. It is, yeah, exactly. He was the guy. He has an eye patch now because where he got shot in the eye with hot sauce or whatever it was because he was at Subway.
The hot pepper balls. Yeah.
The hot pepper balls, that's what it was. And Jean-Claude Van Damme was in his, and he's so stoic and he's in this. Are you okay?
Yo, Donnie Kazan. He says
I've had diarrhea since Easter's.
Ignacio.
Oh my God! Yes.
Oh
I
my
do have a
gosh.
back in
I am
bed,
sweating.
but-
I am sweating right now. Oh.
Are your pants hot?
Yeah, I got the hot pants with the
You're
pepper
about to have
balls.
Yeah.
Don't go pole vaulting after midnight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because once you go full midnight, you never go back.
The
That's what they
on-demand
say.
chat is going to be so horrid for this.
Oh, I know. They're gonna be like, "What? Really went off the rails."
I've
It's
unsubbed.
EDD.
I've resubbed so I could yet unsub yet again.
Yeah. I
My
subbed
phone-
just so I could comment to tell you that I did the thing.
Meg's gonna
you
come
know.
back next week and say, "What the hell happened last week?"
My grandfather was Zero. I am ultra offended.
Yeah, exactly.
My grandfather is Enrique Ingracias de Firenze.
Aldatore.
What's no, Antonio Banderas and Enrique Iglesias El de Firenze.
Name all of the Spanish celebrities. Benicio del Toro. Alcio.
Erica Estrada.
Oh
that's
my
for
God, we're
you Gen
canceled.
Xers.
It's over. It's over.
Hold on, I just got a message from Xbox. We are no longer working with you. Well,
Could you
I
go ahead
am
and send
sweating.
us back the? Yeah.
but yo, Donnie, I
Listen, there-
spit my water on the carpet when you wrote I've had the diarrhea
looked up-
since the Easters. I lost it. I don't even know what you were saying, Red, but you're gonna go
No.
back. Go back somehow.
Oh, I was just saying that there was this interview with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he was talking about, and Christian Harloff said, "So what was it like? You were in this foreign area that you weren't familiar with while you were shooting, and can you tell me about what it was like there? Because you'd never been to this country before." And he's sitting there, he's very stoic, and he's like, "So I went into this restaurant, and they were very nice to me, and this woman, she walked up to me and she said, 'Would you like a glass of milk?' And I said, 'Yes.' She said, 'Would you like cookies?' And I said, 'Yes.'" That was like the famous line from that interview. "Would you like milk?" And I said, "Yes." "Would you like cookies?" I said, "Yes."
I also wanted the cookies.
Yeah, so there you go. That was a Jean-Claude Van Damme interview with Christian Harloff. Yeah, go look up Christian Harloff. He's great. He's got a lot of people.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
Nothing.
this is all Michael Angel Ezekiel Ortiz's fault for being so amazing.
Oh, it is. Yep.
But
thank you
and
so
being a
much
good
for
sport in the chat and laughing with us, we appreciate that a lot. Grandpa's Barbecue Game Cat with the Australian $10 says, I remember saying back when the PS4 Pro was announced that console makers should just make mid-gen console upgrades just a whole main board swap. It's easy to do a solid state memory upgrade. I mean, the problem with console people, they're just not smart enough to pop open a case, let alone decouple a board and put a new one in, and they'll mess it up. This brings us to our next topic, which is that I really don't believe that Xbox's new console is going to be just a console. This is an interesting discussion. I will make it as interesting and exciting as possible, but I'll just say to you that the next Xbox console, I do not believe is going to be a console that only plays Xbox games. I think it's going to have, like Holly was alluding to at the beginning of the show, it'll have Windows underneath it where you can just install the apps, being Steam, Epic, GOG, Ubisoft, and EA, and all those. I think the only way for Xbox to survive in the console market is if you have 6,000 Xbox games plus full access to PC games that will launch on the hardware, because as Holly well knows, we both own a ROG Ally. Mm-hmm. That thing is just a PC, but it's like in console form factor. When you install a game, Steam or whatever store looks at your hardware and goes, oh, well, you look at that. What do we have in there? Huh? Okay, we'll give you medium to high settings, and here you go. There's no reason why the Xbox shouldn't be able to do that. I'll start with Holly because we've talked about this quite a bit. I really believe that they can't have a traditional console in 2026 or 27. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think that it would be smart to not have a traditional console in 26, 27, because as the handheld market goes crazy, and we know Xbox is getting into that as well, right? It's creating much more chaos in where you own your games, how you play your games, et cetera, et cetera. And then if like Steam has it figured out, of course, if you always play on PC, you play on your Steam Deck, it's all butter. But for the fact that they are in the position that they're in with hardware sales, and the fact that, you know, they know that that market is somewhat stagnant, they're not going to see massive amounts of growth just in a traditional console. You got to shake it. You got to shake it and bake it. And so that's right. And so I think it's the next smart thing. Now, how they get that accomplished, right, is entirely dependent on Valve and Gabe and the relationship that they can build there, along with the others. We know
Which
Epic,
is good.
Yes, it's good, and we know Epic is vying hard to take some of that market share, right, from Steam. So we know that they're on board to do a lot of business with people in the best way that they can to get into the market. So it just makes sense. It just makes sense. But pulling it off, I think, is a little bit of the trick. But if they can do that, man, what that does for traditional Xbox owners is open up a whole new world of all different kinds of games you can't get on your Xbox that's only on PC. Even PlayStation older titles that have been ported to PC are now available to you. And frankly, PlayStation shouldn't care. It shouldn't matter because they're porting to PC. Whoever can access PC should be able to play it. That's it. End of story. They don't have to worry about the narrative about them porting it to Xbox because that's not what they're doing.
So
Plus, they're the ones. Go ahead.
Can PlayStation block Steam versions of Spider-Man or Wolverine being installed on an Xbox when it's being installed on Steam via Windows on the Xbox hybrid? That's
Right.
the big.
I mean, that is the
controversy.
narrative, right? But do we really think that they're going to go through all of that effort? I don't think they will. Plus, it's sales. It's literally, you have to do nothing else. It is another sale to you that is completely free. So I just don't see why they would go through so much effort to figure out how to code that and then put that in every game that they're going to port. And it's nonsense. Like, and especially with the changing of leadership, as we see, Hiroki Totoki is way more about get me my bottom dollar line. I don't care about all of this foolishness that's been happening. Like, I want the money. So to me, I just don't see that being an extra step that would be put into those. Plus, they don't, at least as of right now, they don't port their games day one to PC anyway. So they are older titles for the most part, right? They are older titles that, they're just trying to get some residuals on from other player bases. And I don't see why that's a problem.
Okay. David Weinholt in the chat makes a really good point. He says, so why wouldn't third-party publishers and devs just skip making an Xbox console version if they know they can just buy it on Steam and play it on that brand new Xbox console?
Accessibility.
So yeah, Red, give us your take on this concept. What do you think?
I mean, first of all, and whenever we're talking about things like Steam and like PlayStation, where Steam's at, what device it's on, can you imagine? I mean, it doesn't. There's just no world. I just don't see any world where Steam makes a successful deal with Xbox, so it happens, and then PlayStation goes, wait, but you're putting Steam on an Xbox? No. Now we're getting back out of here. And then the entire idea of, and especially, for the PC players, we have PC only friends who wait for games to come to PC. Those people are now going to look at an Xbox and say, well, good for those guys for getting their foot in the door, with their, $600 box or whatever. But then they're going to have to backtrack and say, hang on, we're going to have to PlayStation, are going to have to rejigger their entire idea about how they're going to do a staggered release, day and date or otherwise, of a PlayStation exclusive. So like once I don't know if I'm making any sense. So like they had this idea of like all of our single player games, right? Well, who was it? Strauss Zelnick? I always get the guys
from Take-Two.
Yeah, and it's not that guy. It's the PlayStation guy. Who's the other guy? The Bond villain guy.
Hiroki Totoki. No, Jim Ryan is gone, but Jim Ryan's
gone.
Okay.
Herman Holst?
The guy that was like
Herman Holst.
Herman Holst. That's the guy. Yeah, he looks like a villain straight out of a movie. I swear. But yeah, he said, shout out to Herman Holst. We'll have him on tomorrow on the podcast.
If he'll have it, yeah.
He's a good guy. No, but he was saying like all of our AAA single player games, like you can always expect that to release day and date. We're not going to say anything about PC day and date release. So then the Xbox players are going to say, well, then I obviously don't have any reason to ever own a PC or a PlayStation to access PlayStation exclusives. So I'll get this next gen Xbox that has Steam on it. So at this, and someone in chat earlier said like exclusivity is dying. I think I mentioned, everything going everywhere in the ROG Island, and like the Logitech being a Microsoft platform with Steam. You can play PlayStation games on the Logitech, right? Like, isn't that how that works? Doesn't
via Steam, yeah.
Logitech. Yeah, so like, what's the difference at that point? I guess like all of a sudden because it's called an Xbox, then they go, no. I just can't imagine there being a huge backtrack. You know what I mean? Like, if it's either going to happen or it's not. But this is up to Steam, so it would be PlayStation versus Steam, not Xbox at that point. Does that make sense? For them to say, hang on, you can't put. Wait, we had a deal.
You can't play our games on an Xbox because
right, and they're like, "What's the difference between a Logitech, between a Steam Deck, between a whatever? Like, why are you complaining? It's the same thing."
It shouldn't be about where you play it. It should be about where you buy it. And if PlayStation puts their games on Steam, which they do, they have some 35 plus games of their most popular games are on Steam right now. Everyone's always, it's just a few games. I always think about the recent ones added, but they're over 30 games that are prominent PlayStation titles that are exclusive and they're on Steam. So Hiroki Totoki said, we want to be where there's compute. And he doesn't mean on Xbox. He means on computers and these handhelds and on PlayStations, because he certainly doesn't mean the Switch other than one game, right? So I would think that PlayStation would have to say, hey, they want to buy Wolverine or Spider-Man 2 on Steam and play it on their console PC like Xbox. Hey, they're buying it from us. We're still selling PlayStations. I really don't think, I guess I wouldn't put it past PlayStation, Holly, to come up with a loophole that says you're technically playing on an Xbox and we're not cool with that.
Yeah, but I yes, and I would agree. If it happened, I wouldn't be shocked. At the same time, I think what we're seeing is a massive shift in the way everybody's looking at gaming and the way to squeeze the juice, right? Get the money. And we have new leadership.
From the hot pants.
Oh,
I got
Well,
pepper ball.
oh, you guys love me
a little
so
pepper
much.
sauce.
Holly, back.
Yeah.
I want to
Wait.
apologize for Red derailing. Wait, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. That's what I was gonna say. I just
I
want you to
just
know,
think
Holly.
we're
I was gonna apologize before
Oh,
he apologized
Dear
for
Lord.
me. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want to apologize on behalf of Red for it being my fault. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're squeezing. I just think we're at a time where we're going to see Sony doing things differently. We're going to see Microsoft doing things differently. I think Microsoft is well on their way to becoming a publisher. And the hardware, I think they will always provide some form of hardware as long as hardware is a thing. But I think that they're really laser focused on providing you access to their games through publishing, through Fire Sticks, through whatever those things are. Wherever you want to play is where we'll be, right? So they have a focus that way, and it makes sense for them to add Steam integration because their games will be there too, right? And Game Pass will be on that box, which is what they want to sell. They don't really care where the money's coming from as long as it's coming in. So I think PlayStation's always a little bit behind Microsoft as far as their business acumen, right? Because they don't have to worry about the same things, right? And they have a different strategy. That's fine. They're an entirely different company with a different setup, so it doesn't make sense for them to follow exactly what Microsoft is doing. But I think, they will loosen the straps on their exclusivity, and how that comes out, we'll see, or how fast that happens, we will see. But I bet you if Microsoft comes up with this box that has everything on it, PlayStation's going to find a way to counter that. Because the problem is I don't think a lot of casual gamers understand really what it means to have a box that's a PC and an Xbox, and understand that gets you access to all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So the narrative or the story to tell casual gamers, like, look at all, it's an Xbox, but, right? You have all of this other stuff. It's going to be a hard thing to sell.
It's unprecedented,
though. Explain easily. Right.
It is. And
it's
Xbox is so good at having the worst way to explain something. Go ahead.
Yep. So, I mean, I think that's probably the biggest hurdle to something like that. I think if something did come out like this and they were the only ones with it, I mean, it's a total game changer. It could be absolutely massive if people understand what it actually means.
I think
that's the problem.
I think that marketing beat that you just laid down was you get everything that Xbox console offers plus everything that PC offers when it comes to games. I said in my last video, literally millions of games would be available on this console. And if you play on a PC, and we all do, right? A lot of us here do play on PC. If you do play on a PC, you have access to millions of games, but you do not have access to all of the games that Xbox has available with back compat. There are a couple hundred titles on Xbox right now that you can't get on PC because of licensing. Back compat allows you to get to those games. that are not available on PC or not sold anymore or not available digitally. And there's not a bunch of them, but there is a thing. Well, the other thing I wanted to frame for Red is think about all of I love how you said it, Holly, the casual PC gamers. Think about all the people who pre-builts are awesome. I don't care if people make fun of them. I think they're great. I think they're amazing. You're ready to go. All the people who get into PC gaming but aren't diehard, like playing everything, cranking up, buying the cutting edge video cards, trying to stay up on that stuff. There are so many millions of PC gamers who are very casual and just like to play games whenever they can, and they buy games on PC. Red, what I want to ask you is, Xbox has the ability, if this thing is real, to say, hey, do you want to play on PC but not worry about some things? Like, this is what the product is for you. You can play whatever your friends talk about that are on PC, plus the Xbox games you may already own. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the word that what I just blurted out earlier was accessibility. Can you imagine? I remember whenever I got my first PC. Well, sorry, not my first PC in a long time, and it was this HP 2014, not a gaming laptop, and I realized it hit me. I can play PC games, so I went on this spree of trying to download and play games on Steam because I realized the whole world opens up to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, to your point, can you imagine? If the marketing is there for Xbox, I can picture this trailer in my head where they market the next Xbox console, and they have these fly-in ads, Steam, Epic Games, what all these platforms, everything in one place, and then they call it the Xbox One. No, that'd be bad. But
you really reeled me in there. Oh, that's funny.
But no, but seriously, yeah. But just to say, like, and people are going, wait, Steam is PC. What? Wait, hang on. And then people are like, wait, tell me more. In my mind,
look like a? Sorry, remember that one?
Does he look like a? Yeah, exactly. So
have you seen the mashup of that with Pulp Fiction when Samuel? Well, later we'll check it out.
With the. Yes.
Does he look like a?
Yes. Does he look like a? Yeah, I got you. Chat.
Holly is not amused. We'll send it to her later. You know the part when they're holding up that guy in the house and they're eating the Big Kahuna burger, and he goes, "Does Marcellus Wallace look like a?" Anyway, it's a whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
yes.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's okay. Yeah. So, if you were to imagine, if you will, them advertising this
do it like world,
yeah, where if the marketing is there, like I said, and they advertise it as the all-in-one gaming box or whatever. I feel like for me, like everyone knows, like what Steam. I would hope that the majority of people would know what Steam is, and they know what they're locked out of. Because a lot of people I know a lot of people who have a lot of expendables, and they just want to buy a PC just to play games that are $10 on PC because it looks so fun, like Lethal Company, for example. And then that avenue opens up I mean, can you imagine the pitch from Microsoft to Steam saying, listen, people are going to lose their F and S and A and D.
Their F, S, and their L. Yeah.
And their L all in one place. Whenever you see this huge marketplace open up.
Someone's like, I love the PowerPoint presentation. Friendly. I just don't know what the letters are, but I do have hot pants. Go ahead.
My pants are hot.
So we have D right here, and D stands for but imagine like the marketplace where you open it up and you see Steam, and then you see Xbox, or Epic Games or wherever, like wherever you can buy. But what you were saying earlier, the accessibility is turning on a game and it works because, hey, as a PC gamer, well, I have a PC that I can play games on, is what I mean. I'm not a PC gamer. I bought Ghost of Tsushima the other day, or last week. Okay? I loaded it up. Okay?
Okay.
I plug in my Xbox controller.
Say okay, Holly.
Okay? Okay?
Okay.
So I loaded up Ghost of Tsushima. Okay? And it was flickering back and forth. The stupid bug constantly back and forth. Spacebar A, spacebar A, spacebar E, EX, EX. And I'm like, why is this happening?
The UI, the UI was going. Sorry, he's talking about the UI was going PC to controller back and forth,
with
showing
button prompts.
Yeah.
There was no rhyme or reason. There was nothing on Reddit. Everyone on Reddit was like, "Hey, why don't you not suck?" And I'm like, never thought about that.
Should have never bought a pre-built. No.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, cool, thanks a lot for the help. No rhyme or reason. I uninstalled it 3 times. On the 3rd time, it just worked. Okay. So whenever you think about PC gaming and you think, oh, you're going to build this huge, this amazing PC and everything's just going to run, it doesn't run the way that you want it to, like it does with console. Now, the PC people that love that are just used to it.
They love that stuff.
It's probably just my CPU. It's just probably just a CPU thing. Maybe you should.
I see you disable a couple cores and go back to DirectX 9. Should be good. Yeah,
exactly.
No,
and I'm like,
no.
I have no idea. So yeah. So just to end my whole rant, accessibility would be huge for the Steam marketplace. And since PlayStation games are on Steam, not day and date, but I think that it would be huge for people to say, so it's just going to work whenever I press the button. Yeah, that would be great. And of course, we are talking about optimization. Of course, how are they going to optimize games to run, without ultra settings or whatever the settings that's going to match the hardware,
cool thing, about that you're talking about is we live in a world where the Steam Deck and the new Lenovo and the new ROG Ally are already preparing developers for mid-tier hardware. So people that play on, like we play on the ROG Ally or Steam Deck, there's like the Steam Deck verified thing. That's a thing that is already pushing the industry in that direction. Where if Xbox makes this console that is high to mid-tier when it launches, developers should already be used to that, because the next handhelds that come out at the end of the 2020s, there we go, should be very close to or a little bit less powerful than the next Xbox console. And somebody in the chat, I don't remember who it was, said, you don't just sell 30 million consoles and just stop. And that was such a great comment in the live chat, because someone in the chat also said it's so over for Xbox. Whereas too many hypotheticals, Marsh says, it's over for Xbox. Well, Holly set this up really well about an hour ago and said Xbox knows they're going to sell 30 million consoles regardless. Like, this has been the worst generation for them. And they've sold 30 million consoles on the on the precept that you don't need an Xbox. And I've said this many times, you don't need an Xbox. They've never given you a reason why you have to have one, because all their games are on PC. And they're still selling 30 million consoles of one you do not have to have. And they've even told you, no console required. Xbox and Microsoft are telling you don't need an Xbox. And there was a quote floating around where Phil Spencer said that something to the effect of that they'll always have this install base of about 30 million people that are on Xbox console. I forgot who said it in the chat, because I read it for you when you wrote it, that Xbox has to worry about the viability of having an Xbox version. If the next Assassin's Creed, well, let's think of a smaller studio. Some smaller studio may completely skip the Xbox. Why? They can play it on Steam, on the Steam version on that console. Why should we make an Xbox version? Well, I think the fact that they're 30 million strong when no one cares about Xbox, developers will make Xbox console versions, even if this thing has Windows underneath it hidden. Jonas the Dad also said something really great, that these apps, Epic, Steam, GOG, Ubisoft, would all have to be preloaded. I do not see a scenario where this console allows you to minimize to a version of Windows 11 and you can just install whatever you want, McAfee virus or whatever. I think it would be very limited, but everything would be fully Windows-based underneath the hood, so you can play these games and they will auto-detect the hardware. So any issues you see from that, Mr. Red Wolf?
Sorry, I was completely not. Sorry, someone in chat said, well, I think they just got deleted. Never mind. I'm just gonna send that real quick. Sorry, Colt, give me a.
Yeah, I'm not a funny person at all.
No, yeah. When Colt and I were married with children before we moved away from Mexico, which is sort of where I came from.
It was a very beautiful place. Yes.
Very, very beautiful place. I'm sorry, Colt. Give me a very quick 5-second.
I know. ADD.
Yeah, I apologize, everyone.
I don't even remember. But I was just like, I don't even remember. I just think there's an issue with the Windows thing. I was just talking about how Jonas said that they'd have to be pre-installed apps. You can't just go in and do whatever you want to the Windows portion of this console if it exists. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And are we talking also about like what I mentioned with optimization? Like they would have to be set. Each company would have to set their.
Well, Hollywood better explain that.
To fit
like
the hardware.
How would that work, Holly? Because I think of it much like we do with the handhelds. Like when you install games on your ROG Ally, and what's it like?
Well, I've had some issues with games on my Ally. For example, before I got the PC that I have, I only had the Ally, and I was trying to play Enshrouded, and I will tell you that dang game does not load successfully on the Ally. I still don't know that it actually does. It's like you have to go into the inner depths of the file tree to find an exe that didn't only open this one exe.
Through Steam even? Yeah.
Yes, it won't open through Steam. So, and that game I think was in early access. So, like it's probably meant for real PC, right? Not necessarily for a Steam Deck or an Ally. But I would say 90 to 95% of the games that I install on the Ally, even if they're not verified, they work. And they work pretty well. Minor glitches here and there that are a little frustrating, and then I'm on Reddit doing the same thing as Reddit. Like, for what do I do about this? But
it's new. It's a new thing that
it is, but it's
we're all
pretty
working
good
with.
though. I feel like they've got it pretty well. Like I don't know. Like it's been less hassle than I thought it was going to be when I got the Ally, because I was very worried that I was going to have to figure out all these stupid drivers, this and that, and then this menu and that menu. But it's not that bad right now. But in a box like this, that could be a whole nother element. But I don't know. I kind of feel like, would it hurt Xbox if they did this box? I mean, you as an Xbox owner, you're probably going to get this box because that's where you own your games, right? Your digital library is there. But you're going to be looking for sales. You're going to be looking for deals. And traditionally speaking, PC games are always much cheaper than console stores, right?
Yeah. How many people are...
Right?
I was just going to say, how many people are going to say, you can get it cheaper, not on the Xbox store, and they end up buying more Steam versions or Epic versions. But
yeah. But what if the box doesn't even have an Xbox store anymore? What if that's the deal? What if it has the store for you to access all of your previous purchases?
Oh my
gosh. But now all of the games you can just purchase wherever, but it's an Xbox.
Right, yeah.
Epic or Steam or...
You mean there would be no Xbox games anymore?
There just wouldn't be an Xbox game store.
That I think that's impossible, because I think Xbox is banking on making money within their store and then making a portion within the supported stores like Steam and Epic and
like the 30% or whatever it is.
Well, not Ubisoft, but Epic and Steam would, if people decided, I'm gonna get, I hear the let's pretend this thing's real. I'm gonna get the Xbox console version. I'm gonna get that on Steam because it doesn't have glitches like the Xbox version does. Right now, Fonz was playing the PC version of Flintlock Siege of Dawn, and the Xbox Game Pass PC version had micro stutters, but the Steam version didn't. And he doesn't know a way around it. And he went to Reddit and they're like, quit making your PC dumb. So those are issues, I guess. But I think you're right. Xbox has a crazy obstacle to go around if this is something they want to do. But I also feel like Xbox is more excited, or how did I say this the other day? Xbox is more concerned of selling their games and other people's games than they are of selling an Xbox console. And I would bank on that statement. I feel like Xbox is more concerned, I'll say it again, with selling their games and other people's games, making that money, than they are concerned about selling Xbox consoles at this point. And I think it's why we've seen such a change and why they can't have a traditional console moving forward. That's all I have to say about that, I guess.
Yeah, and the people were, and I think that like the people that are worried about Xbox going into publisher mode, this aspect of it sounds exciting. Where what we talked about with having a box that does everything and has all the stores in one place, and it's easy and it's affordable. And again, I just feel like people shouldn't worry too much. I know a lot of people are saying that. Gray Monad says, I don't think Xbox will subsidize the next console to match the Steam prices. But it's like, if it's accessible, and that's a good point, because if it's on this box where you can buy a game on the Xbox store, but then also you can buy the same game on Steam on the same console, there's a bit of some headbutting going on there. So how do they work around that? Like, is there going to be like a subscription tied to another subscription tied to the access of Steam or something? I don't know. Like, how would they work? That's something I never thought about.
And what does it do to Game Pass Core if
Right.
you have, because that's pay to play online.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is a PC hybrid box, are you still going to make people pay to play online?
Right. Yeah. Like, it's like, how do you like, if we want to play a Steam game?
I think so too.
They would,
but
that's my problem.
How that?
They will make the Xbox console PC people pay for online, because they make some $3 billion a year on forcing people to pay to play online on a console. And Xbox can't get rid of that because they rely on that ridiculous evil money. That's my opinion. But as far as
that's
that?
PlayStation 2. That's PlayStation 2.
And Nintendo. It's a stupid thing that everyone accepts because console does it and Xbox started it. And it's like, why would you back out of that? It's free money. It's free, evil, mustache twirling money that they charge you to
Bond
pay.
villain.
It's Bond. It's Herman Holst money. That's what it is.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to be funny on the show.
Money.
I apologize.
Oh, don't be stop it. Don't
now
make me
for
laugh.
my next topic, I will. No. The cool thing was Steam. Like you were talking about Gabe earlier. If Xbox is like, hey, we want to put Steam on our next Xbox console, Gabe's going to go, all right, what do we need to do? Because it's just another piece of hardware for him to sell games. So it's a win-win for everybody. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's, I don't know. We're not going to hear about this for a little while. And some people are guessing that maybe that console's not 2026. It might be 2027. I think it's a mistake. They should have that thing ready as soon as possible, because I think this generation's been really a letdown for everybody. I don't care who you're on. Nintendo Switch is outselling everybody, and their new Zelda game looks like it was made in 1998, and it's going to sell amazing. So I don't want to drag this on anymore. It's been a very long show. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. The chat was very receptive and pretty nice about you two being on here, and
I know.
That makes me happy.
I even thanked them multiple times. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe no one's cussing me. And so I saw some people got some stuff removed, but thanks. Shout out to the amazing Happy Bomb and Yadana Gazada for being moderators, for keeping all the negativity out of our ears and noses and eyes.
But the chat is like 98% amazing. And
I know.
And they put up with Holly, which we owe Holly probably $80 on her next cell phone bill for using her mobile hotspot.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Oh, that's right. You're running off your hot. Listen,
My
Is
phone
this
just
what-
died, so I'm back on.
It's working
So I
great.
think it's fine now. Yeah,
Wait,
it's
what
fine
did you
now.
Does a
say you're breaking
hotspot
up?
like just
No, I'm
like
kidding.
chew your battery up like crazy?
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, we would
Wow.
use the mobile hotspot so our kids could use like a tablet at the restaurant when they were younger. And I would go to look at my phone and it would be like super
Hot Pants.
flaming hot pants phone.
Right. Yeah.
NG the Atheist says Nintendo's revenue is half of Xbox. I don't think so. I think they're above Xbox for revenue and especially for profits. But gaming is in a rough spot, but it's also there's so much good stuff to come out, and I had such a good time. Before the show went up, Reb was like, "What's your deal, Cole?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm always nervous to start the show." And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because when we go live, it's always great. You guys were excellent guests. Thank you for being here in Mags." Preston's like, "What did I miss?" Not much. It was a great show.
Oh,
But
Preston Legary, I'm a huge fan of you. I love you on IGN. I
love you
your
on
YouTube
LGN.
channel. I love you. Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Preston
So
Legary.
dumb.
Yeah. A lot of people a couple of people asked about Dealer. There's Mars says, I missed the podcast with Dealer and Zocker Cole. I love those guys. And I talk to Dealer occasionally. I don't think he's coming back to podcasting, but I told Fonz, and Fonz was on the show via phone a couple hours ago. I said, let's do a everybody RDX reunion. Like, I would love to do that and get back on for one show with Zocker and all those
That'd be
guys.
so cool.
But it'd be so cool because this podcast community is incredible. You guys do a show this will be it. That you guys do a show every Tuesday and you just sit around and talk about the gaming news and have a discussion, and you guys are laid back. You aren't uptight like me. You don't get nervous. I really enjoy your show. I watch it every single week. It is the Renegade Realm podcast on Red Wolf's channel, which is on fire. On fire. Him and I did a Starfield collaboration video, and his video soared past mine. And it was so cool to see. So awesome because
It was so
your
fun,
content
man.
was amazing, bro. I love the stuff that you do. And Holly, I love watching you on the podcast. You guys are great people. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Really,
Holly, I'll
really
give you
appreciate it.
you know what? It's my honor, and your honor is mine. Give me the
My
honor.
honor is your
You're
honor.
giving me the honor.
The honor of Ezio the Dirty.
Ezio Auditore de Forense. Feloni. Wait, is felonious a bad word?
Felonious? Dave Felonious? Dave Felonious is the Star Wars guy.
Okay.
It's not Felonious. It's Dave Filoni, but hey,
Did you say I have a
Felonious.
plethora? You need to do the plethora. The plethora
what did-
of Felonia.
Would you
The
say I have a,
plethora de Felonia.
would you
Piñatas?
say I have a plethora of pinatas?
Yes, Effie.
Efe.
He's like, El Guapo, I do not have your superior intellect and education.
Can you tell me I have a plethora when you do not know what a plethora is?
Hey, hold up your hat. Higher. He moved. That's a great movie. Holly, this is your chance to shine. Tell people where they can find your content and follow you and what you do on the internet that makes you
Hey.
so famous.
That's a great question because I don't make content. I just sit around
Not
and
yet.
talk to people.
Not yet. I'm going to get her, chat. She's going to do it.
Actually, no, I just 2 seconds of appreciation because it's the ooey gooey moment. Donnie and Happy Bomb are like the best mods. They're such
Yeah.
wonderful, awesome people, and much praise and shout out to both of you because you're amazing. Yodani's okay sometimes though.
We
Oh,
tell
God.
we tolerate you, Donnie. Donnie's such a great guy.
The slander he sends is all
Yes.
love.
Yep.
And then also, yes, Colt, thank you again for having me on. And most importantly, everybody should know that he is just genuinely the nicest, most caring person that I don't know, like he's just really that nice. And because he was just nice to me in a moment, I now get to sit and talk to that guy every Tuesdays because it opened up all of these introductions and things. So the Looney Tunes.
I just tried to go into
are
her
very,
camera.
very-
I was like, let me come down here. I was like, wait, I don't want to kiss there.
Wait, put your hand through and I'll make it continue on. Go.
Yes. So, yeah. All right. Well, there we go.
Holly's like,
It's been-
great. I just spilled my heart out, and here these two kids go.
And I got
just-
jazz hands.
Okay, Red, put your finger.
Wait, make it come closer. Put it right up against.
I don't know how to do it. Hold on. What? You know what?
Use your other hand like this. Here, you do me. Look, it's ready. It's ready.
You heard that, right? Clip it.
It's ready. Put it in. Oh.
I swear. I swear.
So dumb.
It's like we rode on the bus together. Like we sat on the bus.
Nostalgic.
Dude, how difficult was it to open those windows, Holly, on a bus where you had to pinch
Oh my
the,
God.
Oh, yeah.
And
Who
then you gotta,
invented those?
I mean,
Sadist.
childproof. Yeah.
You
Sadist.
wanted
Yeah,
children to
exactly.
And then it's like,
No, and the bus driver's like, hey, you quit that.
with their
Did your
gigantic
bus
mirror.
drivers,
I see you.
I'll see you back
did
there.
yours have
Jennifer."
marks? They didn't want you to go
Jennifer.
below a mark either. They were like, no, you can
'Cause they
only
didn't
go
want you-
this much. That's
They didn't
it.
want you to climb out.
Yes.
Right, exactly. No
Yes.
kid could fit out there. At least in West Virginia, no kid was fitting out those windows. Let me tell you. Sorry. Let me. Sorry. That's
So
Randy.
bringing the cart back onto the track.
Yeah.
I just, if there's anybody out there, it's a very, very long shot, but if there's anybody out there who has been affected by a layoff in the gaming industry and you're listening and you want to talk about it in a fun, happy way, just DM me on Twitter if you want that blue number. So just putting that out there, if you know somebody who's been affected by that, if you just want to let them know, then that would be great.
That's very
That's
nice
it.
of you.
That's all I've
And
got.
I appreciate
awesome.
your platform. And Holly also works with Ben Kenobi with coins for fan art. It's amazing.
Yep.
Which way? This way?
Nope.
There you go. Ooh.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that a Celtic? What is that?
This is the FanFest coin. I'm
That's the
sorry.
FanFest
I
coin.
lost the live window here.
Oh, I love that.
I can normally when I go in and wait for it to go into. There you go.
Nice.
Come on. The last time I did this, it stayed at that
You gotta
focal
get
point.
in there. Get in there. Yeah.
It's not going to come back.
It's-
Yeah, it's not going to come back. It's like,
Oh,
I don't know what
it's
to
back.
do. There we go.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you for all the work that you do. And people message me about the coins a lot, and they're really excited when they get them. So, Red Wolf, you also make content. You make weekly content, and you're like, Colt, my video died. And then the next day it blows up, and I'm like, there it is.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't like my soccer video. I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna put it out, and man, what a that day was awful for me. And 3-4 days later, it went from 62 views to like now I'm at 3,000 views for that video.
Jeez.
And the stalker community is so cool, man. And it just like, whenever you're a content creator, you sort of put yourself into, you sort of discover the communities of other IPs, and then they just flood in, and they know all the lingo, and they're so happy to be in the comment section talking with other fans of the same thing, that like they're all there for the same reason. And it just makes it that, like, that's all that I care about. I just love to interact with everyone. I read every single comment, unfortunately sometimes, but I do. And it's just so great. I love making content for that. It's always a big payoff whenever people in the comment section of the videos are just happy to be exploring different
Or
perspectives.
celebrate the franchise or what could be. And it's not a joke. When you put out content, half of the comments are dismissive or negative. And yeah, I mean, but there's so many people that are so excited about upcoming games, and your video was great. And
Yeah,
we were
thanks
both
so much,
helping
man. I
each
really
other
appreciate
on dealing with the negativity and trying to shine through with the good stuff. But yeah, I appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
Also, tell them about your podcast,
I'll do that right now, Colt.
Infamous.
Right now.
Evan is quoting
Infamous.
Three Amigos like crazy in the chat. Yeah,
So
In-
I love
Infamous?
it.
so good.
Would you say you're infamous? Yeah.
Funny. Oh, thank you so much, Udani Kazada. Link in the description, excuse me, in the comments right now. Udani just linked my channel. If you want to go there and become part of, the community at large,
The free subscription club.
the free subscription club. Exactly. Yeah. Just jump in there, and we have a podcast every single Tuesday. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Renegade Realm podcast with Holly right here. Or wait, no, she's up there.
Other
For
way.
me, I think.
Other way.
She's up
There,
here.
there you go. There you go.
She's over there. She's over there somewhere.
Would you
and
look at her?
Just
look at
and yeah, we're there with Assassin Entertainment, who has been coming out of his shell essentially as a
Slowly.
content creator. He is so
And-
knowledgeable for his age. It's just insane.
And DeMarco, dude, one of my favorite guys.
Yes.
Very good guy. Really good panel. One sans
Yes.
camera, but really good podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Thank you so much.
It is linked in there. I was going to think of something else and I don't remember, but yeah, no, it's been really good. And thank you, everybody. I'm starving. Rax Spice, this is a great show. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you for checking out the XNC podcast. You can check this out
you.
on demand on Spotify. On Spotify, you get it in video form if you want. But when you're in the car, it gives you audio for safety reasons. But thank you so much for checking out the show. We're moving right along, and then things will get even more crazy and be more exciting. Thank you, Holly, so much. Thank you, Red. I'm going to go hit my obligatory buttons that'll get us out of the show and give us, thank you so much. Hit the like button on the way out. Comment after the fact and say what you thought of the show. That helps as well. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
See ya. Will you just look at it.
Look at this show ending. Would you
Just
look at it?
He hasn't even hit the button. You gotta look at it. Let's
No, but I look
Bethlehem.
at that button. I say, would you look at that button? And would you just hit that button? Would you look at it?
Bethlehem.